All right, everybody. Hello and welcome to the Tuesday show. My name is James Chen, and I'm here joined by Mr. Ultra David and Mr. Tubaware. Apologies for the late start, but we are here now and ready to talk about some video games. How you guys doing?
So we're basically late because one of my cats had a health issue, and we took him to the vet, and things seemed to be okay. But I didn't know if I could make the show, and so the planning and stuff like that was all kind of wonky today. So,
Yeah.
there's Miles. All right, it's the little Miles boy. Anyway, so yeah, Ajax seems like he's fine, but
That's good.
we did have to give him some painkillers and stuff. So yeah, hopefully it ends up being okay.
Yeah, I mean, let's put it this way. I mean, obviously, when Jasmine was sick recently, like that, I didn't even know. I mean, these are my first pets, and so seeing how they were reacting and just seeing that kind of stuff happening to her, I was just like in total panic mode and everything, and so I can only imagine how you must be feeling right now, especially because you guys don't have you don't have any official reports on what's going on with the cat, right?
We're not gonna find out for a couple days about what the urine analysis is. It was just like a urinary issue. But yeah, I mean, again, for now everything seems fine, so we're like relieved, happy about that. Anyway,
On that note, let's get
shout out to
started.
Miles. Yeah,
Video games.
we all have cute cats that we all love very much.
Yeah. I mean, one of the hardest things about that is obviously, as you can see on these topics over here, God, now I know why it's so hard for you. To our left is one of the first topics is UMK3. The new characters have come out, and I said Combat Pack 3, but it's actually Combat Pack 2, as you mentioned.
You also said UMK3, and it's definitely UMK11. UMK11 came out today, or
Jesus.
to be technical, Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah, I was gonna say both
Ultimate.
of you are wrong. It's Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate. Okay?
I know.
Get it right,
but
bucko.
it's so obvious that whoever decided on that name made the wrong choice. That it
Look,
should have
man,
been
that's their day
Ultimate Mortal
job.
Kombat
You
11.
stick to lawyering. Let them choose the names. All right. That's
If I were their lawyer, I would have said, "Sorry, you can't do it."
Now,
I would have made up a legal reason why. Anyway, yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll also talk about the other things up here. Some super awesome news, I feel. I'm sure you guys are excited too about Marvel 3 actually having an event.
Yeah, boy.
Amazing. There's also cool events coming for Tekken, the Intercontinental Fight Club we'll talk about. There's also Killer Instinct World Cup. Like, this week is actually amazing for some of this stuff, for
Yeah.
game events.
It's a good fighting game week for Tupperware. That old Tupperware guy.
Yeah, dude,
Breaking it
Marvel
rich.
and KI, you're right. You're absolutely right. We're going to have our buddy Mike DeBonis come on here to talk about voice acting. He is a voice actor who has done stuff, including in fighting games. We'll talk about that a little bit. We have some 5-5 topics for you to get to. We also have some other news. As you could see, we'll get to that towards the end. We could talk about some results briefly, and then there's some upcoming stuff to discuss. But yeah, let's begin by talking about UMK 11.
Yeah, I mean, this one's obviously, your area of expertise due to, your personal, the cat issues right now. You haven't had a chance to test out. I didn't actually know they were going to put out all three characters at once.
Ah, yes, all three characters are out. So that is Rambo, Melina, and Rain. There I was this morning doing a stream, going over the patch notes, and all of a sudden I got the text that Ajax has having like problems peeing and stuff. That's been a recurring issue from the past. So midstream I find out about this, and then I was almost immediately like, well, later on, folks. Like, I had just highlighted, after talking about the patch for like probably an hour and a half, I had just highlighted Rambo, like literally before actually selecting him to go into the game. That's when I found out. So as a result, I haven't actually investigated them almost at all. I've watched a little bit of other people doing so.
Okay.
Yesterday and today, I watched a little bit on stream of some people checking them out. So I can talk a little bit about them, but I guess let's talk about we'll talk about the characters first. We'll talk about the patch second. So they're all out. Rain and Melina and Rambo. So Rain hasn't been in an MK game since MK9. Melina's in there like every single time. And obviously this is Rambo's first time.
I mean, Rain was technically playable in the story mode of 10 or 11.
No, you're right. Yeah, in X. and people did hack the game to have access to him.
Nice.
That definitely did happen.
Of course.
But as far as like a main playable character, and what's cool is that Aquaman pointed this out because he was a Rain player in MK9. They actually put him at the same spot on screen, on the character select screen, which I think is like kind of a cute little touch.
Okay.
Anyway, so as far as what he does, I haven't watched it. To be frank, I haven't seen that much Rain so far. I saw Rain at the Kombat cast that they did for him, and we talked about that when that happened, but I'm sorry, I don't have that much info to provide other than that. To
be fair, we are in Southern California. We don't see much rain here at all. So.
We're not very well acquainted with rain. Yeah, that's for sure.
And well, there went my stay on the Ultra Chen show. It's been a good run, and I'll see you guys later.
Later. When you have Johnny Cage as the announcer for MK11, whenever you pick a character, he like has some little riff. Like he sometimes will just say like Rain, but then sometimes the other times he'll make a joke. So he calls Rain the artist.
I get it.
I don't know. Did you get it?
Yeah.
He may be inspired by
Rain.
Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I'm pretty sure Ed Boon has like publicly said, yeah, this is a Prince thing.
Yeah, you're probably
obviously,
right,
guys.
Anyway, I thought that was funny. And then for Melina, I've seen a little bit more about her. It looks like she has some good damage. It looks like she has some buttons. I know she has a command grab available to her. That's basically what I recorded in my mind about this character.
Of course.
She does look cool. And I will say for both Rain and her, these are two characters that I personally have not felt any, like, I haven't felt they're cool. I've never felt they're cool. I played Rain in Trilogy. He was my main, but only because of Super Kick, the round the world kick. Right. Other than that, I thought it. But in this game, I think they actually look sick. Like they actually have personalities that really come across, and their animations, from what I've seen, are all a lot stronger. So I was happy about that. I did see more about Rambo, maybe to nobody's surprise. That's the character that I watched people play. So he's kind of like a funky semi-zoner, but he also has command grabs up close. He has a crawl move that has multiple options out of it. So out of that move, he can attack. He can do a command grab out of it. He can stand up out of it.
He can do a command grab out of his crawl?
Yeah, out of his crawl.
He's on the ground, and then he command grab.
And he like reaches for your leg. Yes, and he's pretty sick. Yeah, so he's like crawling underneath projectiles. He's got a crushing blow on it if he crawls enough before he gets to you. He has some definitely like super fast, legit looking traps that he puts down. And I don't mean like he has to like set them and then they get sprung. I mean like they're just traps that come out and they're really fast. And so they're going to definitely be really good at controlling space as people are trying to walk around. They're lows also. Gotcha. He has a mine that he puts on the ground that it's unblockable. And I was watching Mustard this morning, and he was already looking into like corner trap situations where you put down the meaty bomb and like
they wake up into it immediately.
He's definitely like a Cyrex-ish character.
It feels like he's going to be great at baiting out meter because people are going to try to roll forward all the time, right?
That may be right. That may be right. So yeah, Mustard was like, "Can I put this out and then still grab a roll?" So for sure, same thought process. But when he set the opponent to do wake up invincible attack, they actually like go through it, and then the bomb explodes when they're done.
So it doesn't even trigger It doesn't trigger the bomb while they're invincible and they get to go through the bomb. It waits till the invincibility is done.
It does, yeah. So what happened actually was that so Rambo gets hit by it, and then the opponent gets launched, and he actually combos on the trade. So it's pretty sick.
Oh, so he can be hit by his own claymore.
He can be hit by his own claymore. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So I think he seems really cool. He has like one gun, but it's the one where he's shooting both arms with guns. I don't know what the kind of gun is. Whatever, machine gun. Who cares?
The big M249.
Who cares? I don't know. I already forgot what you just said. However, it's a high, even though it kind of looks like it might be a mid. So I don't know if that's super great. But the other stuff that he has definitely looks really strong to me. And people are saying that he seems really good, that he has a lot of the tools that you need to be strong. So I'm really happy about that. It's somebody I'm going to look into for sure. So I like that a lot. As far as again, I had intended to spend today like looking into these new characters, but
Right.
you know,
Obviously.
cats happened, and I just wasn't able to do that. So I'll be doing that over the next, I guess tomorrow, the next day. But as far as the rest of the patch, I did look into that a lot before Ajax's urethra fell apart or whatever. uh, and so it is a very significant patch, I would say. It did not change that much in terms of characters. The characters themselves are not actually that changed.
Interesting. Okay.
So Jackie got slightly nerfed. She's a character that like everybody thinks is one of the best. A lot of people say is the best. She got a little bit nerfed in the sense that her dash punch is punishable and her leap into stuff does less damage and is more flawless blockable. Right. And then also Shang Tsung, who a lot of people think is one of the best, also got nerfed in the sense that his corpse drop does less damage. And then they nerfed Katana. I don't know what to say about that one.
Wait, what?
I saw Katana Prime said that he doesn't think he can play her anymore, and she feels lost.
I just am not sure.
I don't know what that means, but that's what he said.
I mean, she was never considered that great in the first place, right? I mean...
No. So I wonder if, like, is there something about one of her customs? Because I haven't looked into it. Or is there something, like, that they found internally where they thought it was really strong? Or... I don't know. I mean, they did change the Razor special move that she has, which fans kind of float around her. And it could be weird to know whether it was your turn or whether it was her turn again. Like, it was kind of, like, specific in some ways. And it was just, like, a lot of standing reset damage. Now they made it so that she has only one fan that comes out unless you amplify it, but you can still stand there and hold it. So like if previously when you held it, fans would just kind of like zoom around her and she was just like a fan wall or whatever. But now there's only one fan, but she still can stand there if you want. So she just like stands there posing with nothing around her. I don't know. I think that one's a little weird.
Okay. I mean, look,
other than that,
I mean, obviously, like, I mean, it doesn't even sound like they nerfed Jackie terribly because, you know, from the footage that I've seen, the way that she can just change her jump arc and stuff like that is really, and then she's got the low attack, which everyone just kind of takes because they'd rather eat that and everything like that. So it seems like they didn't really nerf her all that much then, huh?
I'm definitely with you. Yeah, I think that she did not get nerfed all that much. And, I mean, Shang's corpse up does less damage, but other than that, he's basically the same.
Right.
So... yeah, they really didn't change that much. Like, people were thinking maybe would RoboCop get buffed? Would Shao Kahn get buffed? Like a couple of other characters, but they didn't really do that, and they didn't really nerf anybody else. Joker didn't get nerfed. Like, other characters that people think might be among the best didn't really get nerfed either. So what happened is instead there's these, like, very large game-wide changes that I'm sure will, make it so that instead, like, this is where the sort of character changes will actually be there. Like, tier movement will probably happen because of this. So the biggest one is that custom moves are now usable in tournament and on ranked online and on Combat League online. I already went online to make sure it was on there. It was actually yesterday is when the patch came out, and it was already available. So I've done that, and that's going to, like, really change some stuff. So some characters are, like, clearly better as a result of this. They have access to damage more often. Maybe you want mix-ups more. Maybe you want zoning more. Like, whatever it may be, characters are now, if you'd like them to be, like, more suited to that style. So God, I feel like that's...
Was it Aquaman who was saying that he felt like Shao Kahn is going to be, like, a lot better now or something like that? Or I couldn't remember.
Probably not Shao. Well, I mean, I don't know what he said, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. From what I've seen, some Shao Kahn players are not super happy, but yeah.
Oh, okay, never mind. I might have read it completely wrong then. Okay.
Maybe Kotal Khan you're talking about.
Oh, Kotal Khan. I think that is who I'm talking about, actually. Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, so Kotal actually did get some changes also, but for the most part, characters instead got these changes. So the custom ones, we'll talk about that briefly just to get through the other things that actually changed here. The game's poking, by which I mean like down 1, down front punch, down 3, down 4. These are buttons that don't immediately lead to combos, but they do let you take your turn if you find a hit. And now they basically are better at that. Like, if you get a hit, you have more frames when it's your turn.
Oh, interesting.
And On block, most of them are like a little bit worse, although not punishable for the most part. So there's more reward for landing it. It matters more now.
Interesting.
And
in other words, because I mean, like when you play the game, I mean, like that down one and the down one game was really kind of awkward, where it was just like everyone's just hitting down one all day and everything. So it sounds like it's more defined now. If you get hit by a down one, you are not mashing a button afterwards. If you block a down one, it is clearly your turn now, basically, right?
It's not a huge swing, so we're talking about maybe like 3 to 5 more frames of hit stun, like 1 or 2 more frames of not your turn on block. It's not like gigantic, but yeah, it will probably have some effect in that. Yeah, so it should feel like you're able to control things better. You find a hit, congratulations. You block, congratulations. Like you actually, you know, there's more reward either way. There's different wake up timings now. So regular wake up is 4 frames faster, and there's only 1 delayed wake up now as opposed to 2 before, and it's like in between those two. So old max delay wake up was 30 frames. Now the delay wake up is 20 frames. So wait, you're kind of faster on both sides.
Did you say regular wake up is faster by 4 frames?
Yeah.
So that's actually changed the meaty timing for everybody now, right?
Indeed it has. Indeed it has. So like I said, this is, I'm sure, going to change the tiers, these changes that they're making here. And one that people notice right away is that if Devora does a back throw, she now no longer can get a meaty because the opponent gets up too fast. So that is like an immediate change for this character.
Wow.
So yeah, like, will this make setup characters better because now they can be more sure about when you're gonna wake up, or maybe it makes them not as good because it's faster that you get up now than before.
There's literally no timing that maybe they can meet at some situations.
Right? Now. Yeah, I don't know how this is gonna play out personally.
I mean, I feel like that could go either way. I already saw a video from someone doing the OS tech, you know, the frame kill stuff, like, oh, do this move as a meaty. If they don't wake up and do the delayed wake up, then your down 1 becomes meaty and is super plus on block and stuff like that. So I've already been seeing some setups like that, and that's gonna change a lot because you're gonna have that, you know, Tokido sitting there whiffing low jab, low strong, low jab into the perfect meaty setups and stuff.
Yeah, frame kills, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's going to change stuff. Throws now do a little bit less damage.
Okay.
Maybe because like they think the attacker is going to have better situations on knockdown due to the changes here. Could be. And then there's other stuff. So fatal blows push back a little bit more, and in the corner they don't push back at all. The complaint that many people had is that they're tough to punish. Now they're like a little bit easier to punish. They changed some hurt boxes so that strings don't whiff as much, although I've heard that some still do. They made it so that hop attacks are invincible to down ones. So if you'd like to blow up down ones, there's even another way that you can do it.
Right.
Attacks now beat throws when they trade.
Oh, dang.
So there's like pretty substantial changes, I would say.
Hang on. There's a big one that I saw in the chat over here. Someone actually said that there's a new input buffer.
I was just going to say, yeah, there's an input buffer. When you have done a normal or a string, there's now a 4-frame input buffer for the next thing that you want to do. So what they changed, they did this for defenders a while ago. So if you're coming out of block stun, you have an input buffer so that as the defender, you can be sure that you're going to attack as soon as possible.
Right.
But the attacker didn't have that, and a lot of people were like, "Why does the defender get this, but the attacker doesn't get this?" And so now that is in there as well for the attacker. So that what that means is that if you want to, like, say you have something that's plus on block, but it's like +1 or 2, you have to be really precise at using pressure. Now you can be really precise. Or if you're in a juggle and the juggle is like normals, it's like strings and normals, then the juggles are going to be a little bit easier. Dude, the thing is that most launchers in this game are specials. So this is like not going to immediately change all of those, but certainly some it's going to be easier.
I mean, I think this is huge.
It is. I mean, it's huge.
As a player, you know, I messed with Mortal Kombat obviously when it came out, and you know, one of the ways to learn combos in that game was turn the computer onto the highest difficulty and let them kick your ass, right?
For sure.
There was a bunch of combos that the Johnny Cage computer would do, And it's actually really hard to replicate because, as you said, linking off of the juggles with your normals was actually kind of tough to do. And, they would always fall a little too far because I'd be too late or whatever. Input buffer for attacker is massive because, look how much it changes Street Fighter as well from 4 to 5, right? I've talked about this a lot, about removing the human error and stuff like that. That means the frame kill stuff is going to be more accurate. That means the juggles are... This is going to create a lot more of the set play in this game. And, Mortal Kombat has always been one of the... the most strict in terms of, you better hit your button at the right timing, which I thought was kind of neat. But it's interesting that they're going with the input buffer route. I think that's going to change a lot. I think that's a very, very big deal, in my opinion. So
yeah, I think it's a big deal too. And one of the things that I'm looking forward to is, as Baraka, I have corner pressure that's really strong, but leaves me at like +1 pretty consistently. And that's like, it's good, but like if I'm just a frame or two off in following up with the next button, then I could lose my turn just like that, even though like I could have maintained it. I just screwed up. But now I feel like I just shouldn't ever screw up. So my corner pressure should be better. I guess we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, that's my guess. So with all these changes, and then again with the custom variation moves being now playable in tournament and stuff, I just don't know. I totally understand why they wouldn't make a lot of other character changes, because exactly. I feel like these things are already going to have some substantial changes, and maybe they probably have better ideas about like how this is going to go than I do, but I really feel like I don't know like who's going to be better as a result of this and who's not going to be. Like some of them are obvious, like Sub-Zero now, if he hits you with a down one, he can guarantee that he gets an overhead low mix-up. Before, you could actually press the button before the overhead could hit you. So, obviously, that's great for Sub-Zero. And Devora not having a meaty after back throw, obviously that sucks for her. But, like, on the other cases where they're a little bit less obvious, I don't know. Like, it's great for Shao Kahn, because now he can get into plus frame high attacks better after landing a down 1 or a down 3 or whatever it is. So maybe his offense is better as a result. Maybe everybody's offense is better as a result. But maybe your meaty timings are all screwed up, so you don't get the offense anymore. Like, it's just, I don't know. It could be anything.
This reminds me, wasn't it Dragon Ball Tubo that kind of did something like this? When the new season came out, they put in a bunch of system changes, and they didn't change the characters much right away, because it's almost like they wanted to see how the systems would affect everything, right? Was that like season 2 or something like that? I feel like that there was a situation.
Every Dragon Ball, like big Dragon Ball patch, has had character changes in it that I can remember. But yeah, one of them, I want to say the one that changed Double Super. They didn't change too much about every character, if I can recall correctly. But I'm probably way off on that, to be honest.
Yeah, because
don't quote me.
I feel like that was the reason why they didn't change the characters. I feel like that's a smart decision right now, because it's interesting. They're taking a lot of the kind of crazier aspects of Mortal Kombat, such as the lack of input buffer, the varied wake up timing, and all these things like that, and they're really kind of they're making it a lot more streamlined. But by adding the customs, they're also not, they took away some of the crazy, but then they opened the door up to a lot more crazy. And so, I don't know, it's really interesting how they're doing this, and I kind of like it. And I'm obviously I don't play the game as much, but I'm really, really curious to see how much this game is going to change in this coming season, because, like I said, from my standpoint, I think like input buffer and fixed wake up is huge. Like, I feel like that's going to create a lot more set play. All of the complaints about I can't meaty anybody in this game are gonna go away, because now
I don't know, dude, because already people are saying that 4 frame faster wake up means that you can't do any more meaties. So
I didn't see to experiment more. It's been
that's what I'm saying, dude. Yeah, it's been a day. Like it.
Yeah.
People are out there being upset that their characters didn't get more buffs, or that characters didn't get nerfs who they wanted to be nerfed. I just think like give it a little bit. Like there are gonna be differences. There's gonna be changes in the tiers because of this, absolutely for sure. And I just don't know how that's gonna go. Maybe they didn't need it. Maybe that's why there isn't a lot. But I'm, you know me. Like I'm happy about having that. There's like I'm happy to not have big changes at once. I'm happy to have stability. So I would rather have this personally than all the changes to the game and system wide level, and also a bunch of character changes. Like that would make me a little bit more nervous than this does.
Look, I don't think complaints are going to go away. I'm just saying that that's going to allow people better ability to land the meaties. They will find other things to complain about. I am 100% positive on that one.
Yeah,
I have 3 complaints right now, actually.
Okay.
1, we're like 20 minutes over on this topic.
Yes.
2, Mike DeBonis' name is spelled wrong. It's DeBonis, not DoBonis.
Oh.
3,
Sorry.
I don't think in Mortal Kombat the second K is replaced, or the second C is replaced by a K. So I think characters is KHARACTERS in the Mortal Kombat world.
Yes.
But maybe I'm
right.
wrong.
No, I think you're absolutely right. In fact, I think it's KA, not KH.
Yes,
I don't think you need the H.
Yes, I will acknowledge both of those and say that one was 100% intentional. Spelling Mike DeBonis' name wrong was not intentional. This one, I specifically made it as unwieldy as possible by including the H and changing the second C.
I keep reading it as characters. I'm like, what is a character?
Anyway, I'm really excited for UMK11. I'm really happy about it. I hope that people who aren't as happy about it will just like let it stew a little bit, because I think it's going to change a lot. That said, I have seen a lot of people say now that customs are involved that they're going to get back into it, because that was one thing that they didn't like, that customs weren't available from the start. So I hope that does happen. I'd love to see people check it out. But I mean, the MK scene is doing great. It's got a lot of cool things every weekend at this point. So I feel like the community is in a good spot in terms of like, are people playing it? I'm not worried about that. But I'm excited. I'm really excited to delve more into Rambo tomorrow and trying out Baraka variations and RoboCop variations and Terminator variations, and like there's all sorts of stuff to test that I'm really excited about.
So, just last thing I wanted to say was Shang Tsung then will probably actually have access to some of those ninja morphing customs, huh?
Yeah, he has access to all the ninjas, yeah.
Nice, okay. All right, we're 20 minutes over this topic, so let's move on to the next topic.
Yeah, and not to put any pressure on you guys, but Mike does have to be places tonight. Like, I'm not making that up.
Okay, you should have said that earlier, my man. We could have him be...
Look, man, you guys were going in on some MK. Stephanie's in the chat. I'm not trying to ruin things for the MK fans, all right?
But maybe we can move his spot up. I mean, that would be okay.
I'll do that right now. I'll just move him up. Let's interview him now. Let's just do it now.
We're going to interview you now, Mike, apparently. Well, I did tell him, like, 6:30, so that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, and it is
and
basically 6:30.
See how quickly I can swap the topics, because I've thought about this ahead of time. Look at this. Look.
Hey, look at you. James is doing it.
All right, so let's see if we can get Mike in here right now. While Tubo tries to contact him, I'll take this opportunity to talk more about Mortal Kombat. No, I was kidding. No,
I would love to.
In case you guys haven't heard.
It's like I said. I mean, I haven't played the game much. Look, we all know what the story is in the fighting game community is. You just gotta drop some games. You can't play them all right now. It's so hard.
So not every move is available in the. Not every custom move is usable on tournament play.
Right.
And there are some things that will not let them be played together. Like I wanted to make a RoboCop competitive variation, but you can't put two things together in there. But like, as far as people who are just gonna be, there's a subset of the community, and I think it's just a vocal one, which is why you hear about it more often. It's not actually the majority, but there's definitely a subset that will just be mad about everything. Like you're just not gonna get them right.
I think that's
Sub-Zero is definitely good. He's good. Sub-Zero is a good character for sure. You know.
All right. Well,
yeah, I mean, you get those in every scene, but yeah.
do we want to do this right now, or do we want to take a quick break? Because
Let's bring in Mike. Let's just bring him in. Let's keep it rolling.
Give me one.
He's already in the voice chat.
Give me one second here, because I need to make sure I have that he's not listed as Reeple here. You know.
I hope that he is.
Do you want me to leave him that way?
Mike deserves zero respect. No, I'm kidding.
Wow.
Glad we brought him on here as the guest, just so we can give him no respect. So.
Yeah, you're definitely right. In the chat there, 16-bit says, dudes get mad and always hate the game, but then play 8 hours a day anyway. Yep, that is what I've seen as well.
Mm-hmm.
The only people that actually get that mad at fighting games are the people that play 8 to 10 hours a day.
Well, no,
that's exactly the rest of us normal 2-hour day guys. Like, we're just like, yeah, sure.
I just retweeted somebody who said exactly that. They were like, nobody hates fighting games more than people who love fighting games.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
it's just so true. It's just so true, man.
Mike, do you hate fighting games?
I think I fall somewhere in the middle. I don't love them, which is why I don't hate them.
Yes. Yeah. Right? That's what I'm
Did I say that right?
That's the kind of absolute nonsense answer I was hoping.
Yeah.
That is about as accurate as it possibly can get. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't love something enough to hate it, so.
Yeah. That's the mix-up, right? Like.
All right. Hang
bro,
on
honestly, that's like the only true hate, though, right? Like, you do have to love something in order to hate it, right?
You do.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, hang on a second. Let me bring him on here. Let me bring him on here real quick. There we go. All right, there we go.
There he is.
Hey,
Mr.
what's up, guys?
Mike DeBonis. Sorry for spelling your name wrong there a little bit.
No, it's okay. It's
How
okay.
dare you?
You had
I think I had it coming, honestly, so it's okay.
Mike,
you grew a beard for an entire year.
Hang on a second.
I did.
Hang on a second. Mike, can you mute your OBS Ninja?
Oh yeah. So is it just? Sorry, this is my first time using it. So is it just the microphone? Just
just click that microphone button and then you should be good because you're coming through.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, like.
All right.
I mean, look, you're a voice actor. We love to hear the voice and everything, but you know, we'll just,
but not twice, man.
A little goes a long way. So
that was
you had a huge beard that you grew for a whole year, and then you shaved it off. Like I feel like 4 days ago. Right? Like,
you're not far
look
off,
at this,
man.
Look at this already back. That's ridiculous.
You do the same thing, David. You literally have the same growth rate as mine.
No, I do not. I'm more than most people, but this guy is definitely like the 1% when it comes to beard growth.
Look, I haven't shaved since the pandemic started, right? I mean, look, no,
dude, your hair is what's tripping me out.
Yeah,
you and David both. You guys have like the top knots going.
Well, I have the top knot, but I also have the Shermie cosplay. I don't know if you saw me tweet that, dude.
Oh, what? Oh, yo, there we go. That's what I'm talking about.
I have the Shermie cosplay going over here. I know.
You're all so luxurious. Thanks for showing off your beautiful long hair.
I can't do this too often because then Gibby will like all of a sudden start stalking me and stuff. So I have to make sure I don't do this a lot. So
that's another glorious beard. Speaking of,
yeah. For sure.
That's a keeper.
So you're on here because not just because you're our buddy, but also because we wanted to chat about voice acting in fighting games.
Yes.
And through COVID. I mean, obviously.
And through COVID, definitely. Yeah.
That's the elephant in the room. That darn pandemic.
Let's get that out here. Yeah.
So with that in mind, can you talk a little bit about the kind of stuff that you have done in the past?
Sure. So I guess the biggest one that I've done in the past couple of years was definitely like Street Fighter V, like doing Shibasaki for Street Fighter V, which is Karin's butler. I was some of the extra voices in Oddworld New and Tasty. I'm like the Muddikins that are running around making silly little effort noises. That's me. Well, one of many. I was S-Kill, Kung Pao, and Uncle Sensei in Dive Kick.
Oh, you did Uncle Sensei, huh? Nice, okay.
I did Uncle Sensei, yeah.
Nice.
Yep. And then I've been actually like over the past like 2 years really, I've been doing a lot of like audio descriptive services for Deluxe Entertainment. out here in Burbank, and that's basically just to like a real brief explanation of that. It's basically just for the visually impaired community what closed captioning is for the hearing impaired community.
Oh,
so we're basically like describing the downtime between production audio. So I've been doing a lot of that, and yeah, I've had a couple like smaller games that I've booked. Actually, coincidentally, a lot of cool, fun effort noises, like combat effort noises and stuff. I actually still don't even know the games that I booked, which is kind of a weird part of voice acting.
Yeah, they don't tell you.
Is it like NDA or something? Like, you need to make effort noises for
Yeah.
a disclosed game.
For upcoming
Yeah,
video game.
It's video. They're just like, do it and sound like this, and I'm like, okay, here's what I think you mean. Cool. And then like I get a direct deposit at some point, and it's like, cool. Well, I wonder what I just put my name on, and
Wow.
you know.
Yeah,
You're
I've
opening
heard tales.
trash.
I've heard tales of voice actors being in the booth, like recording their characters' lines in the game, and then their character says something like, "Yeah, that's right, Link," and then they're like, "What? This is," or they're like,
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
right,
my God.
Ryu.
Oh man. Yeah.
Wow, Chun-Li. That's how they find out what game they're
That's
in.
exactly what it felt like when we got the scripts for Street Fighter V. I remember thinking like a friend wasn't able to read for it, and he'd passed it over to me and another friend, and we were kind of browsing through, and I'm seeing like Nash, and I'm like, oh, get out of here, man. There's okay, like, and then it's like, you know, Ryu, and I'm like, that's it. I know exactly what this is. Oh man, it was exciting. But yeah, that definitely happens sometimes where you find out kind of, and then they're like, you can't tell anybody, and you're like, okay.
Hey, Brock. Guess what, man?
Yeah. Well, you can't tell anybody, okay?
Can't tell anybody. Listen, I'm not gonna say Urian's in the game, but I'm not gonna say he's not in the game.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you would know. Yeah.
That's actually,
Oh, man.
that's funny.
Yeah.
Mario 1080p in the chat mentions that the voice of Kirby got so excited when she found out she had to record Power Wave.
There you
That's
go.
so cool. I didn't even think about a thing like that. Yeah, that's so cool. Like, why am I oh my god.
Right. Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, I mean, like, it's interesting. I mean, how much do you have, like, you know, in contact with all of the voice actors for fighting games and everything like that? Obviously, you know, like, I think his name is Bill, who does Urian and such, and you know.
Oh yeah.
Tell us about your famous friends.
I'm friends with, like, I'm not like super close with a lot of the voice actors for the game. I actually Todd Habercorn, who was the voice of Yun in 4, when Age of Ultron was coming out, we were standing in line at the theater over in downtown Burbank, and we happened to recognize him. And I just started shooting the shit with him, and yeah, we ended up, like, as a group, we kind of sat around and like watched the movie together, and
That's cool.
And then I ran into him again at like an improv, like a show at the Improv. It was Rob Paulson's Talkin' Tunes.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah, I got to like talk to him about that, and I was like, since that time, I was like, I booked Street Fighter V, and so that was cool.
I mean, so in case people don't know, like, I'm really into voice acting. Like, I'm like, you mentioned Rob Paulson, obviously one of the greats, Yakko, right? So
Yeah, man.
Yakko and all sorts of other characters he's been doing.
Pinky and Raphael, and
Pinky.
it's so cool, man. Yeah, it's so fun. Well, didn't you do some of the weren't you the announcer in Yatagarasu?
Me and David were,
We did that.
but that wasn't really.
That was so for me that was so early on in like my commentary career arc that I didn't think about it, I think, in the way that I would think about it now in terms of my idea for what to say. They let us write our own lines, and
Oh, that's awesome.
my idea was to come off as like the bored jerk, like I'm just a dick. And I'm like telling you that you suck or that the opponent sucks constantly. Why am I here? It's awful. Like that was my idea. And while I think that the lines that I recorded are pretty funny, in the context of a fighting game, it doesn't work at all. It's really bad.
Like, what did I do to this project?
And I'm like talking really long on some of these lines. Like I have way too much to say. Whereas what they wanted, I think, was just like, wow, or like, ugh, or nice hit, just like something like this. But I'm out there like, I can't believe you let the guy hit you with the overhead right there. What a terrible idea. It just like drones off.
I've never actually played it to listen to myself because I'm actually scared to do.
Well, James, I can tell you that literally every commentator that did a voiceover for that pretty much sounds like David. Like it all sounds really out of place and weird.
All the Japanese commentators nailed it, I assume. I don't know.
Oh, I mean, yeah, maybe they got it, but I don't know what the hell they're saying.
Yeah, wasn't it was a lot of wasn't it like Kokujin was one of them?
Yeah, Kokujin was one.
Yeah.
They nailed it. I can't understand them, but like they sound like they're super invested and they're having a great time.
Yeah,
they did a good job.
They were crazy. Sounds like any tournament that they've ever commentated.
Exactly. Yeah, it really did sound like that. Yeah.
But look, I am also the official voice of the Pocky KO challenge. Okay, I'm just saying.
You shouldn't take credit for that, man. Sorry.
Dude, I'm proud.
I mean, Pocky, please sponsor Ultra Chen TV. We love Pocky.
I'm totally proud of my Pocky work, okay? Look, and the Pocky work isn't done yet, so.
Dude, get those merit badges, man. That's like so much of what it's about, right?
I mean, honestly, like
whatever you can get.
I've talked to people about this, and I know I've talked to you about this. Obviously, Dr. Stans as well, and everything.
Oh yeah.
I've talked to all you guys. I've always wanted to be a voice actor. That was one of the things I was so invested in when I was growing up. I always tried to imitate all the cartoon voices. Whenever me and my brother played Transformers, we would do all the voices for all the characters and everything like that. And,
James, let me hear your transforming sound effect. That's pretty good. That's yeah. I hear Autobots roll out after that. Absolutely.
I don't feel like they make the voice actors do that sound effect.
No,
they probably have like Frank
Welker did it. Dude,
yeah.
Frank Welker does, like, if you watch any Disney film from like the 90s and like the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, if there's an animal, Frank Welker did the voice. Like you watch, if you watch Rescuers Down Under, he did the voice of like the hawk with eagle. He did the voice of the lizard. Like he does the voice of all the animals, dude. It's crazy.
It was like Frank Welker, and then it kind of like he still does stuff, but then it's like it started getting passed on to like D. Bradley Baker too, and then it's like oh my gosh, like some of those. I took a class with D. Bradley Baker. He came in and like. I was doing a class at Mark Grouse Studios with Andrea Toyas from Blizzard, and D. Bradley Baker crashed our class. I was like, what?
D. Bradley Baker is the other guy, not Ryan Stiles, in the Drew Carey show, right?
Mark Grouse Studios, not Marlboro Studios.
Am I right on that? D. Bradley Baker is the other guy in the Drew Carey show, right?
Bradley Baker. I don't actually. I'll be honest. I don't really know Drew Carey show too well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
he's Klaus in American Dad. Like that's like the big thing. I think a lot of people know him from.
Totally.
So how did you get into this stuff?
Yeah, that is him. That is him. He's the one that was in the Drew Carey show, and then also he was I think it was in shoot, what is that movie called with where they beat up the printer? Like, isn't he like the next door neighbor?
Oh, Office Space.
Office Space. He's like the next door neighbor dude, right?
No, that's like Diedrich Bader.
Yeah, that's a different guy.
Okay. I think that's the two I'm getting confused. Okay.
He was in Drew Carey show, the movie.
Yeah, Drew Carey show you're right, is Diedrich Bader. You're right. Okay. I've got the names confused. There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
So Mike,
I don't know, man. I think I got into this stuff the same way that I got into like fighting games, because I was a weird kid that was just like, man, cartoons are so cool, and oh my gosh, Mega Man's awesome. Oh! And I was just
like a normal kid to me.
Yeah, I was just
besides
like
maybe the weird moaning.
Yeah, I'm not sure I did the weird moaning, but I definitely said Mega Man's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. it loses meaning without the moaning. But Halo Reach. So I don't know, man. I just couldn't help myself. I'd be like walking around looking at the ground doing stupid muttering silly voices to myself to the point where like, I'm walking through a parking lot and my parents are like, "Look up. There's a car like right in front of you." And that was just kind of like my world as a kid, like I did a lot. I love to draw and do all that. So I was just always really into that kind of stuff. And, when you're like 5, 6, 7 years old, it's like, I don't know what computer programming is. I don't know what animation is. I just, as far as I know, I hit this button and this magical box of like fairies and wizards turns on and presents me with incredible entertainment, some of which I can control with a little 2-button pad. And then I grew up and him less stupid. But yeah, I mean, like I guess like after that, I lived in Champaign, Illinois for most of my like early 20s. And that's also where Volition Studios is, that does like the Saints Row franchise and Red Faction franchise and Descent even as well, that old game on PC. But my good friend, I got to credit him on here, my good friend Larry Gates and also Ariel Gross, whom I actually did work for not too long ago, voice work for. Those two guys really, really opened the door for me. They invited me to come down to like, I just showed a little interest in VO while I was doing QA testing on some of the stuff. And they really let me in and just kind of let me just have fun. They were like, "Well, we need placeholder voices, and if you don't do them, we gotta. So you enjoy this stuff? Sure, come on down." And that was like 7 years ago, and here I am. So
that's how in the old games you get all the stuff like, "We must recover all the energy immediately, Mega Man."
Wily is going to line.
Dr. Wily is a classic video.
Wily.
Dr. Wily.
I, for one, am so glad that Capcom got the drunk janitor to do that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, man. That killed me.
Oh man. But I mean,
I didn't. So Shay, I didn't actually. I just did like some QA. Don't get it wrong. I basically sat on my ass and like play tested the game, but with a focus and a purpose. I'm not going to like put myself on the level of like the the people who were designing and stuff like that, and going out and collecting M&E and all that stuff. Like, but I was part of a proud team for sure.
But I mean just speaking from an interest in like voice industry and stuff like that, it's a hard industry to break into, right? Because
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you see a lot of the same people doing a lot of different voices, and then Hollywood, for big budget animated films will get famous actors who actually are not good at, doing voice acting. I've seen Billy West talk about that a lot, how, they'll hire just famous people just for the names, but they just don't do it justice and things like that, so.
It's kind of it's kind of a slippery slope, and of course, excuse me, pardon. It puts butts in seats for sure. Like you see, like, oh man, like Benedict Cumberbatch is, but Benedict Cumberbatch is a fantastic actor. So it's like you're paying for the performance, sure, but you're also paying for the name, like you said.
Right.
And I think it's just different. It's different because that was probably a bad example too, because Benedict Cumberbatch is actually he's got some pretty cool voice work that he can do.
Yeah, he kind of killed it as the dragon. And
that's what I'm saying, man.
Like, that's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
So there, I think, but to get back to your point, James, I think like, yeah, you have somebody like Billy West or Rob Paulson where, they were like, "Jay, Brian, what do you want to do tonight?" and doing all this kind of stuff. And like, you're not really going to get like Robert Downey Jr. doing that, like that kind of stuff. You're paying for Robert Downey Jr. to be like this cool, like button down, like 3D animated fox who's kind of, like you got Jason Bateman doing the fox from, was it like Zootopia?
Oh,
I think.
Yeah.
Like you're paying to have Jason Bateman in a cartoony fox form. That's what you want.
That makes sense.
To the point where you're even mocapping his mannerisms and things like that. So it's definitely a pretty interesting part. I'm not really quite like into that, territory yet. There's
almost real close.
Yeah, I got a few more steps
Just
to go,
one breakthrough, you're in there.
But that's kind of how it goes. No, you're like, jokes aside, you're kind of right though, Brock. Like, it does kind of work that way sometimes. You just kind of never know. Like, if you're just putting yourself out there and you talk to the right person, you never know who you may have just talked to, or who may bring your name up because of talking to one person. They're like, well, I talked to this one guy. Have you guys heard of so-and-so? And I think that's sometimes how next thing you know, you're like in the middle of you're starring in a Netflix show or something like that. So
I still wish I knew who. Remember, David, what event were we at where we took the same car as a bunch of famous voice actors to the airport? And
yeah, that was the event Youmacon.
Youmacon. Okay. And
cool.
And I never found out their names, so
I didn't know them, but they were clearly famous people. Yeah.
It's like, so what the fuck do you guys do, huh?
Yeah.
This was actually the conversation.
Do, huh?
Yeah, that's exactly how it went.
That's literally how it went.
I'm almost serious. It was really early in the morning, so we had all gotten up to get to the airport, and they had a car for us. They had a big SUV for us, and so yeah, that's how it was. Like it's like 6:30 in the morning, and we're like we're like half awake. So what are you guys here for? And like I think the question kind of caught them off guard, because they're like, how do you not know what we're here for? Yeah. And then they're like, what are you guys here for? And I was like, I was like commentating, I think, Injustice at the time. And he was like, oh, Injustice, yeah, beautiful game. I know these people who did the voices for these. And I was like, oh, cool. And we never asked their names, because as soon as it became clear that we should have known their names, it would have been extra weird if we said, like,
too bad I wasn't there.
Who are you?
That's pretty funny. You could have been sitting next to like or Jim Cummings or something like that.
Yeah, no. If I was sitting next to Jim Cummings and I did not realize it, I will kick myself.
One guy had on a fedora with a little like thing that came out of the top. That's what I will say. That's my only bit of info.
Does commentary or voice acting?
Pretty cool.
No, Jim Cummings, of course, is Darkwing Duck. One of my favorite cartoon characters, and then also I will always put him in that category. He was the third hyena in The Lion King, because the other two were like super famous.
Oh yeah, because it was like Whoopi Goldberg and
Cheech Marin and Jim Cummings
is the third one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was the third one.
Bonsai, right?
All right.
His name is the crazy one.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Man.
I didn't know that.
So, how's the voice acting gig been during coronavirus?
Different. No, it's okay. It's just one of those things where it's like the kind of work where you really got to like stay after it anyway. So it's like I said, I had the good fortune of having a pretty stable work through doing a lot of like audio description and stuff like that. So definitely as Corona started really getting its claws in pretty deep, production kind of across the board, as I'm sure even you guys, like with the tournaments and stuff, like commentary and everything, just kind of like somebody just like, it's like, you guys remember the old what was that? Was it like Dad's root beer commercial where the guy was like flipping the switch in the city and singing like Love Chain, or was it Love Chain or whatever? I forget. But anyway, it's a thing. I promise. Sure. I didn't make that up. But it felt like that big power switch, the big cliche power switch that just kind of got flipped down. But it went down and now it's kind of back on the rise again. So yeah, I think it really depends too on what you're doing, because like a lot of commercial work and stuff like that, I think that's really still kind of carried forth. But a lot of the, like video game production and like new like streaming shows and things like that, like especially like theatrical features and stuff. A lot of that stuff really just kind of it really dropped off for a bit. But I think it's starting to get a little better now. But it's been, it's been okay. There's the peaks and valleys, I guess. Peaks and valleys, dude.
How do you do it? I mean, when you're at home, you're not going into some location, right? Are you just doing it where you are?
Yeah, actually, I'm using this guy right here.
Well, you sound great.
Oh well, thank you very much.
What microphone do you use, Mike?
What's up?
What mic do you use? What microphone is that?
Oh, it is a Cinco Mic D, I believe is what it's called.
Sure.
Which I just realized.
Yeah, no, I was about to say, like, that's your name, right?
Yeah. But it's the brand is Cinco. It was actually I went out on a limb. My friend actually had recommended it to me because it was a less expensive version of a very, very good quality shotgun mic. And I was really just trying to like upgrade my stuff. And he was like, man, this thing has got pretty good reviews and stuff on it. So, I'm thinking about getting it myself. And I went out on a limb, and it's been pretty good. It's booked me work. I've got like here, I'll show you guys. Like,
dude, audio equipment is expensive too, though, right? So I mean, like, less expensive mic is probably still like ridiculously pricey.
Yeah, they can get they can end up being like a couple $100 for like a decent one, because I think like for the longest time I kind of started out using like a Blue Yeti.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, you don't want to when you're getting yeah, basically, like I have like panels on the wall and stuff, and you just kind of like make do and just little by little kind of try and treat it as much as possible. But yeah, it's surprising like what you can kind of get out of it if you live in like a quiet neighborhood, and if your mic is decent, and like a little bit of finesse goes a long way. You can save a lot of money, and because like nobody was really prepared for this. Not everybody's got like a Portabooth Pro at home, or like a big personally built vocal booth in their house. That's not really like how voice acting is, you guys. Trust me.
And I got to imagine, like, you've done voice work for video games and for shows and stuff like that, but the two have to be probably extremely different processes, right? Because, like, for a show, you can do it episode by episode, but for a game, you've got to, like, record everything for the game, right?
Yeah, so for Street Fighter, it was luckily I got mine all done pretty much in like one session. It was like a couple of hours, and I did it all in like one session. But then there were I did some dubbing for a show called Welcome to the Family on Netflix. I got to be like, I'm kind of like the villainous brother that kind of comes in at the end of season 1, and it was fun. I got to channel a lot of anger in that one. But no, but that was a little different, right? Where like you were saying, James, I had a couple episodes that I had to do, so I did like a little bit one day, and then they brought me back. They'd booked me for like 3 days, and then we finished like a little early. So yeah, but you definitely like, the games can be tough too, because if you start doing a ton of effort noises and stuff, and it's just one sitting, it really kind of depends on if you have like a director there, like a voice director, because if you don't, you can really risk getting worn out with like 100 takes of being set on fire. And it's like, hey, well, I don't know if I'm going to make it for the next 4 days of this. So
Yeah.
it depends for sure. Yeah. But they can definitely be kind of different processes. So.
And I got to even imagine that if you did voices for like a fighting game character, probably even pretty different than just doing a regular video game, because it's not just cutscenes. You have to do like special moves and stuff, and you got to make those special moves last,
Yeah, totally. I think, well, it's funny you mentioned that, because a couple of the things that I had booked this year, titles still unknown to me, but I got to do some like effort noises and stuff like that, and it really is. It's like, light attack, like 3 or 4 efforts of a light attack, then a medium attack, and then like 5 or 6 dash types. So you're just kind of like whoa, 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 and like doing all this stuff, and you're like trying, and it's weird because you're listening to yourself with no context, and you're just like, I sound so stupid. Like, and you're trying not to sound stupid, but you're trying to keep producing like a different sound each time. But it's really fun because for somebody like me, where I get lost in that stuff, and this is my hobby anyway, I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna do it like how Soul did, and like, you know, like Midnight Carnival, his stand Heavy Slash. I'm gonna steal that shit. And like, I remember that. I thought that sound was so cool. And you get inspired by the games that have already been out, and like the awesome actors that have already been out, and it's so cool. And it's so much fun. And you're tired and you're sweaty afterwards, and you're just like, job well done.
Well, I mean, speaking of those games, Mike, you don't just do voice acting. Like, you've been playing fighting games for like 15 years, right? Like,
yeah,
competitively playing.
Like competitively, yeah. Like, I guess I started in like, I guess I'm like an 06er. Is that a thing? Do people say that? I know like 09er.
That's old school, buddy. No. If you're pre 09er, then you're old school. Yeah. There's varying degrees of old school.
I'm old school. Oh,
there's varying degrees.
09ers are veterans now, man.
Right?
Yeah, take that.
Yeah, 09ers are veterans at this point, yeah.
It's crazy.
But you're old school.
I like how David still doesn't want to give us credit. Yeah, I guess.
11 years, I guess.
Oh, that's right. Tubo is an 09er, right? Yeah, they're not veterans then. Okay.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's right, dude. Yeah. Oh.
You're welcome, FGC.
Everybody but
the FGC's greatest class, 09, baby.
Hey, you know what? Honestly, there's very little argument to that. 09 is such an important draft of fighting game players.
Pretty big
09, one. Save the FGC, baby. We
literally
did it.
Saved it, yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, Mike, tell us about you as a player. You got 10 seconds. Go.
Okay, 10 seconds as a player. I love Urian. I've never won anything major. I never really competed outside of the Midwest, but I had moments of greatness in the Midwest. I got 5th at the first season's meetings ever with Humbag in Third Strike.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dang, all right. Midwest Dudley. Sick.
Yeah.
And you live in SoCal now. I mean, you know, we would go to the locals and stuff. You're definitely out there competing.
Yeah.
Well, now nobody is now, but you know what
nobody is now. Yeah, right. But dude. And he says this, and then he's like, yeah, I think I'm kind of getting back into this. And then he shows up against like 3rd place at our local with Honda. It's just like, God, you asshole, David.
I mean, it's like, he's like, you play with like Slave a Slave all the time and everything, right? And
yeah.
Like Jeff Slavin, he was playing at the 818 local all the time with David. I remember, right? So
yeah, so was Mike. Yeah.
So okay, you're there as well then. Okay. There you go.
Yeah. That's actually where that's where I met Jeff originally. And our buddy Mitch, and then, you know, like my buddy Julian out here, like he's moved out. He's another voice actor, Julian Smith, and and then I just kind of met everybody. Like I'd like met David, like out at tournaments when, like, you know, like I'm hanging out with Brock, he's hanging out with Brock, and it's just like, oh, hey, what's up, man? Yeah, hey, good to see you. How are you? And then I moved out here, and then we just started hanging out and playing games, and it's like, cool.
Yep. Yeah, so you have played Street Fighter and KOF and all sorts of stuff, right?
Yeah. I got so I guess the big things that I can think of off the top of my head. Like I said, I've never won anything huge, but I got like my biggest things that I can remember. I got like the 5th. I tied for 5th at Season Beatings 1 and Third Strike. I got 3rd place in Tatsunoko versus Capcom at this tournament called Power Up in Ohio.
I went to Power Up once.
You went to Power Up?
Yeah, they had me commentate at Power Up once.
Mike was the sickest Tekken man blade. Fuck Keats. It was all about Mike DeBonis.
No way. No. I'm not, bro. Like, Keats put me on like how to play correctly. All I did was like
Mike DeBonis, best Tekken man blade. I don't care about Keats top 8 Evo. What does that even mean?
He got top 8'd in Evo.
What does that even mean? You're the best.
No way.
Look, Mike can't say anything bad because just in case a Dive Kick 2 comes out, you know, he wants
to be 9 voices in that.
Man. We need to get that second bottle of water for $1, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I think I got 5th at a Frosty Faustings in KOF 13. And then yeah, I got like there were a couple tournaments that I went to with Humbag actually where like I think it was like Keats's tournament called Gamma Bowl up in like Green Bay one year. We drove up through like the dead of winter and like the frost was like covering the insides of our car windows on the interstate. And like we went up there and he got first, I got second, and I was pretty happy about that one. It wasn't huge, but I had like beat a couple of my demons. You know that feeling when you're just like, I finally beat that guy in tournament. Yeah, like that was a big one like that for me. So other than that, I think I haven't competed as much the past year or two, except for the local, you know.
Yeah.
But I've just been like coaching and like coaching like on stream, and for people that hit me up and want to learn, I just help people out, I suppose. Coaching.
Yeah, man, plug some stuff. What do you got? Got?
Well, I'm FlexoFGC on Twitter and here on Twitch, and I've been doing better about streaming Mondays and Wednesday nights at 5 PST. But yeah, I guess if there's anything that I would promote about myself, it's that I have a very open door policy when it comes to playing fighting games. So if you want me to teach you something that I know, all you got to do is reach out. And if I need to like approve a message or something like that, I certainly will. And yeah, we'll learn and we'll figure stuff out as best as I can with my scrubby diamond Urian.
Nothing wrong with being a diamond player, man.
That's right, damn it. That's right.
It's hard. It's a hard, dude. What is it? 94% of the players are under platinum, dude. So
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, man. It's easy to forget.
Well, cool. Thanks, man. Is there anything else that you want to bring up?
Play Guilty Gear Accent Core plus R, because it now has an extended rollback beta until
it comes out.
It's basically it is out now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's basically out now. So yeah. But that's it. No. Thank you guys so much for having me on. A blast. Good to talk to you again.
Yeah, good to hear you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right, guys. Well, I'm gonna head out, but absolutely enjoy the rest of your stream. And again, thanks so much for having me on.
Yeah,
thanks, Mike.
There'll be a time when we all can gather again and play some locals and such.
Let me know if you want to play Street Fighter when the show is over. I don't know if you'll be
I'm actually going to be busy tonight.
Wow.
Yeah, you told us that, Tubbo.
I mean, yeah, but he said maybe he would cancel.
Well,
and in my brain, that means I'm absolutely going to cancel for you so we can play Street Fighter.
Follow through.
The way that he said that, though, it sounds like it's going to be a pretty important thing tonight. So let's let him.
It's going to be really important, guys. I got to go do this thing. And
all right, well, go be important.
Yeah. No. All right, guys. I'll catch you later.
Okay, dude. See ya.
Peace. Yeah. Alrighty.
Cool. Yeah, he and I and a few of our friends, including Jeff, who you mentioned before, are doing a D&D, like more or less weekly campaign.
Oh, cool.
And Jeff's the one who's DMing it.
Nice.
And yeah, Mike is in there, and so is Julian, another voice actor, doing all sorts of silly voices the whole time. It's pretty funny.
So I'm sure you're trying to keep up with them with the silly voices, right? So
I'm just trying to act out my character. Like I act out everything that my character does. My character's name is Grabus.
Yeah. Well, as I've told
Grabass.
Yeah.
So he's a grappler.
As I've told everybody, never invite me to this D&D campaign. I am not a D&D player.
I, on the other hand, have never played D&D in my life, and I'm offended every single time a friend says, "Oh, I got to go to my D&D thing," because I'm never invited.
Well, you don't live in.
I'm hilarious, all right.
Yeah, that's not. I mean, yeah.
Look,
I've only played D&D for the first time, like maybe 2 years ago, and it's because one of my best friends wanted to start doing D&D, and so we started doing that, and it just turns out. I mean, you see how salty I get during fighting games? Like, you don't want to know how salty I get during D&D. So I mean,
imagine taking D&D seriously.
Dude,
yeah, you're just hanging out with your buddies. Like, the game is definitely not the major point.
I got so upset. Like, I was basically uninvited from all the D&D sessions at some point in time. So,
well, this is my first campaign I've ever played, and it's been fun.
It's not for me. It's not for me because I'm too serious about it. Like, it's just like Like, it doesn't make sense to me that my character wouldn't know this. If I lived in this world, like, this is based off of my own personal knowledge, which makes no sense, because my character in this world would clearly know this, and yeah, so, like, that's basically what it's like, so it's not good at all.
Doesn't sound
Chen,
good.
fun at parties, more to
Dude,
less.
I am not fun at D&D parties at all. I'm not fun. Dude, I haven't enjoyed playing a game in a long time, I think.
Rough, man.
I think I haven't enjoyed a video game in a long time.
I watch you play Tetris. And yeah, I agree. I don't think you've enjoyed playing a video game in a long time.
No, I have not, definitely. I don't know if it's the lockdown. I don't know if what it is.
I know what it is. It's the fact that you never finish Outer Wilds and it's eating you from the inside.
It is, actually. It is. I'm mad that I still haven't finished it yet because I want to finish it because I want to know what's going on. I just haven't. I haven't found the chance to do it yet. So, man.
Well, do you want to take a break now, or would you like to just move on? I'm down with either.
Let's just take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll just talk about a few more things, but a lot of big things in terms of cool events coming up. So you can see on our topic board right here on the left.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, I'm going to be doing a lot of talking. Get used to hearing my voice, suckers.
Sick.
All right, we're going to end the show here now, guys.
Anyway. Honestly, it's probably appropriate.
No.
Be honest.
All right, we'll be back. We'll be back, guys. We'll be right back.
Bye, love you.
Bye.
I
mean, it should be MIC. See you soon. KEY. Why? Because we love you. I'll turn it down just a little bit. Hi. Hey, what's up, girl? Oh,
Man, I was actually worried about my cat too yesterday.
I don't know what happened.
He just wouldn't shut up. Like normally Miles is talkative, at least a little bit, you know. Like certain times, like if I get out of the shower, he wants to have a conversation, or if I'm making food, he'll meow to give me some or whatever, right? But
of course.
yesterday, he just excuse me, he just wouldn't shut up, just constantly talking. And like, man, like I've watched you eat, I've watched you drink water, like you're normal there. I've watched you poop, I've watched you pee, you're normal there. And so eventually I was just like, there's literally nothing wrong with you. Like you just want to be annoying. So he's fine. He's like napping somewhere.
You never figured it out, huh?
No, he's completely fine from what I like. He's playful, he's eating, he's peeing and pooping normally.
Right.
Everything seems normal. He just also wanted to yell at me for an entire day. It was just like, all right, man.
It's really
cool.
Interesting. I think it's because I don't talk much when I'm at home. I'm very quiet. My cats are actually super quiet. They only meow at me when they want food.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Miles, he has his moments, but yeah, it was worrying. I was like, man, what's wrong?
Are you okay, man? Maybe.
Yeah, I'm fine.
I think this is what Miles is meowing about. I think he's trying to warn you about this.
Pretty much, dude. He's trying to warn other people.
I'm gonna grab a drink real quick.
Alrighty.
Okie dokie. Santoki. Is David back yet?
I don't think so. I think he's still pooping.
That's fair.
Oh no, I just saw something in a Discord I didn't really want to see.
In Discord?
Yeah, I mean, just like one of my group chats. But
I hope it's not serious. Or is it just one of those images that's going to be burned in your head forever?
Why does Cat think I hate D&D?
Someone thinks you hate D&D?
Yeah, I guess Cat, Rick's wife, has it confused. Yeah, that's okay. I corrected her.
Yeah, I am not the right person to play D&D. My friends discovered that very quickly.
I see. I'll screenshot it. I'll throw it in the chat for you in our very private Ultra chat.
All right, if you guys are finally ready to start, let's get going.
Are you ready?
I just had to pet a kitty cat for a while.
Are you ready? Alright.
Cool. I am ready.
Welcome back to the Tuesday Show, everybody. My name is James Chen, and I am once again joined by Mr. Ultra David, Mr. Tubaware. What's next?
You already know what's next, baby.
Is Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Also, I can't believe you didn't start this section by saying, when's Marvel? That's what I was hoping that you would do, but you didn't do it. So, congratulations to everybody. Take it away, Tubaware.
So, if you guys haven't heard yet, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is going to be the next game featured on Twitch Rivals. It's a big game, or it's a big deal for two reasons. One, Marvel's old. Marvel's, 9 years old now, I think? I think it just turned 9, actually.
Yep.
So it's an older game, so that's a bit surprising. Twitch Rivals has generally been new hot games like Fortnite and Rainbow Six and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. League of Legends, blah, blah, blah. But now they're doing, I think, only their second fighting game. I think they did Tekken before, if I'm not mistaken, and now they're doing Marvel 3 of all games.
They might have done Mortal Kombat on its release.
Oh, did they? Okay. Yeah, like I said, I could be mistaken. Twitch Rivals happens often.
Yeah.
But two, I would assume that Capcom would have to agree to this, right? Like I would assume to be an official Twitch sponsored event, hosted by Maximilian and commentated by Yipes and Tasty Steve, by the way. I would imagine Capcom would have to approve that. I don't have any facts behind that. I don't really know.
Are you claiming that Twitch... You don't think that Twitch would just violate the copyright of a copyright?
No. They absolutely would if it was music involved and something they could blame on the fans later. But for an actual event that they put their name on, no way. No way. They're not going to do that. But if they can blame the fans and the streamers later, sure. Of course they would. But that's not the case here. This is on their plate. So, they didn't really tell us in the email that we could announce we were in it, but everybody started doing it anyways. So the player list, there's 32 people listed here. I don't know the details of how it's ran or if it's a tournament. Rick tweeted that it's a tournament. I'm going to assume it's a 32-person
bracket
double elimination event. That's what I'm going to assume because we have 2 commentators and a host, and it looks like an invite for 32 people. But anyways, the player list is stacked. We have Evo top 8ers. We have top players. There are 3 influencers, I would say, and then the rest of the list is top players.
Now,
How is
the? What is it? Is it mostly just North America right now?
It's all North American players.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, like the Marvel netcode is trash. We're definitely not doing this in person. It's next Monday,
right?
So if I'm a guessing man, I'm guessing that they set up Parsec for this. So I hope they have a lot of servers throughout the United States, and if Twitch is doing it and Max is doing it, and they've already announced that both Tong and Kevin Ha are involved, very obviously Parsec is involved, and they're going to set it up throughout the United States.
Oh, that's so cool.
So the players we have are Angelic, Evo top 8, Clockwork, 9th place, 3 times? Poor guy. Cloud 805, Dual Kevin, Flocker, Evo champ, Flux, Frankie G, Frank Lotion, Full Schedule, CEO champion. I Heart Justice, Coach Steve, Evo top 8, Kevin Ha, Killer Kai, almost top 8.
I think he got 9th twice.
Yep. Yeah. Kyle P, Marlon Pie, Marvello, Milky, Mothman, Mundank, Nerd Josh, Not Enough Damage, Punisher, Rambam, Ray, Ryan LV, Evo champ, Ray, Evo 3rd place, Static Alpha, Streamburger, Super Noon, top 8, Tong, myself, Priest, top 8 at Evo, and Wentinel.
Okay.
So that is a very stacked tournament.
Wow.
Yeah, and Wentinel coming out of left wing.
Man, yeah, it's the sands of time have parted to show
Couldn't
Wentinel
go
in
around,
there.
so.
That's awesome.
Like, besides you, who are the other 2 influencers you think?
I would say Tong and Kevin Ha.
Oh.
I mean, I don't think there's anybody else on that list that I wouldn't see in my pool in a tournament and go like, oh shit, they're in my pool. Like,
Yeah.
But Tong has done well in tournaments in the past, right?
I mean, so have I. What is that? We're talking about 2011, man. This is 2020.
Okay, fair
So
enough.
Yeah,
you
Tong
actually
has done
are
well in
including
tournaments.
yourself in the influencers list. You actually.
I know my place, man. I'm a commentator. A commentator first,
All right.
player second, influencer third. We'll put it that way.
All right.
So I know my place in this. I'm not confused. Like, I don't think I'm going to beat Ray Ray. I've played him recently, and he bopped me. Like, I know how this goes.
I mean,
But I mean, if I could go like 1-2 or 2-2, I'd be okay with that. Like, that'd be fine with me because that means you lost to a commentator scrub.
Did you say Marlon Pie was in there, or
Marlon Pie is in there, yeah.
Nice.
Oh, sick. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, so I mean, like, the player list is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm assuming there's going to be a prize pot. I think Twitch Rivals usually throws money at the players too.
Right.
Yeah.
So I hope they announce that very soon and the amount, because if it's a Twitch event, Daddy Bezos has got dollars. He's ready to throw them hoes. I hope.
Man, that man's never voluntarily given up $1 in his
That's
life. I don't
very true. That's also
But,
very true. Shit,
yeah,
we
I
might be
hope
doing
that-
this for funsies.
know. Right. No, I hope that there's money involved. And yeah, I think it makes total sense that if people who have been doing Parsec are involved in the operation of this tournament, or are playing, I guess.
Dude, honestly,
yeah,
if they would have done this
likely,
without
right?
Tom and Kevin, it wouldn't work.
I mean,
I promise
look,
you.
Honestly, a lot of credit for this event even happening, really does go to, Jason Game Dev, who's in the chat right now,
Absolutely.
Dat Hazy, who was one of the first people who figured out how to make it work for Marvel. I mean, that kind of created this Marvel 3 resurgence. It's nuts. I mean, me and Olaf played Marvel 3 on stream recently. I didn't even know this event. We just did it because we just felt like it.
Yeah, Marvel's best. That's what you
just the game is. It's just it's just one of those games that when you play it, it just feels so good when you play it. When you
Marvel 3 has the best game feel,
Yes.
which I learned is a real game dev term like a few months ago. Game feel is a real thing, and Marvel 3 has the best game feel of any fighting game I've ever played.
Yes.
Everything feels the way it should. Like, your brain sees it and it happens, and you're like, that's how that should feel when I do that. Every single attack.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah, I can't disagree too much. Yeah, it's great.
And it's also the ultimate salt inducer as well, as I've explained at a run back a long time ago. Basically, when you play Marvel, it's like you're Hulk, right? In the Avengers movie, what's your secret? I'm always angry. As soon as you sit down, you're automatically angry already about playing Marvel, because that's
Honestly, playing Marvel 3 for whatever year or two that I played it taught me not to be mad. Like that, but before that, I often got mad in fighting games. I mean, I was never like super pissed, but like, yeah, I would get mad. I would say things like, "This is so stupid," or "I can't believe it works like that. Shouldn't work like that." After Marvel 3, I just stopped. I just learned that's just like not a productive way to.
After Doom hits you with the cross-up jump light 12 times, you're just okay.
Yeah. When I'm just absolutely guessing in just binary or even worse choices for however long I played that game. But at the same time, you could definitely still control all of that with excellent neutral. Like it was the game that taught me to not be mad. So that for me is one of the biggest legacies of that game personally.
That's so funny. Yeah, but I mean, honestly, like, it is. I mean, we're at 2020 at this point, right? So the Ultra Chen Awards that we do this next coming year, we might even want to just talk about of the decade. Did we do the of the decade last year?
Yep, we did.
Oh, we already did, right? And I think both of us picked Marvel 3 as like our #1 game of the decade.
It was definitely one of them. Yep.
Cause I don't. It's just this game, like you said, game feel, right? I'm all about that shit. When I talk about game feel, when I talk about video games, a lot of the times it is about that game feel because it's that emotion, like what makes a game feel fun. And, you know, I've talked about how, you know, the Tekken slow-mo, you know, Soul Calibur, some of those counter hits and you slide across the floor and, you know, when you land a lethal hit or when you land a fatal blow, or not a fatal blow, no, lethal hit is in Mortal Kombat. When you land the
That's in Caliber.
What's it called in? That is a fatal
Crushing blow.
Crushing blow. When you land a crushing blow, like against the throw,
blows.
and you uppercut the throw in Mortal Kombat, like, game feel is so important. And yeah, Marvel vs. Capcom 3 has that all over the place. And I'm so happy to see this game continuing this legacy, you know. It's so cool. It's cool.
It's the best, even if you don't think it's the best game to play, it's the best spectator fighting game for sure. And people from all scenes, I feel like, agree about that. I've talked about this with people from 3D games and from NRS and from Street Fighter and from wherever.
So
everybody thinks that it's the best. Almost.
Here's the interesting thing about it too, because it's such a fun game to watch, yet the combos are probably the longest in any fighting game. But somehow the combos, they're all so unique between the characters, and we talk about this game feel thing. I'll tell you this right now. No fighting game out there has the greater rhythm of combos in that. When you see launch, foot, you know, or boom, flames of the eye of the flames of the, you know, like flames of the, you know, impact palm, flames of the impact palm, flames of the impact. You get this rhythm and it just feels good. Like, not trying to dog on other games, but a lot of times when I watch a game like Dragon Ball, for example, and the combos are really long, it doesn't have that same kind of rhythm, and every character has a different rhythm. You know, even when, like, you know, Spencer's does zigzag zip, you know, you get this and then they pull them down and then pow, bionic arm. Like, everything about that game, like, the combos are all so rhythmic and it's so, like, just naturally appealing. I don't know, like, I'm just ranting about this now because
I'm just letting you, because I love when people love Marvel 3.
Yeah.
I mean, if you hear David talking about Mortal Kombat like this, I'd be like, all right, next subject, let's go. You're talking Marvel, man, all night.
It's what makes those combos not terrible, and the fact that these combos aren't simple either. So there's always this idea, like, he might drop this, and that's like if when someone shoots a wide open jump shot, he could still miss it. And there's still that possibility, you know, even if you're Stephen Curry or something like that. And all of that stuff combined together just makes it such a fun game to watch. It's so beautiful. It's so
When is this happening?
Sick. Next Monday. So
wow.
I don't, like I said, we don't really know much yet, but there's things that we can assume based on who's in it and all that stuff. Like I said, Max is going to host it, so I'm guessing he'll be watching matches, and we'd see Steve and Yipes commentating it on his stream, I would assume. Awesome. But we're all going to be streaming it. I think that's one of the requirements to be on Twitch Rivals. And everybody has to stream it, but you'll see all of our individual runs if you like. So there's going to be a lot of Marvel on stream that day. And there's something else I want to point out. Parsec is definitely helping Marvel's revival, right? And Rick will probably not be happy that I said this on air. But before Combo Breaker got canceled, back in January, when me and Rick were coming back to Minnesota from Frosty Faustings, because we went together, he was like, hey, man, do you want to know how many entrants Marvel 3 has in Combo Breaker right now? And I was like, sure. I was expecting January, so Combo Breaker obviously is in May. Didn't happen, but, you know. I'm thinking, like, there's probably, like, 60, maybe 70 max. Like, that seems like a really good number for a 9-year-old game, right? At 5 months before a tournament happens. Rick was like, dude, you guys already at, like, 148. So, Marvel 3, the reason it's surviving through Parsec, my belief, isn't just because Parsec is a thing and we're stuck inside. Because there's a lot of fighting games you can play that way. It's because Marvel 3 has never died. Everybody's kept playing it. Different groups of people play it now. Like, the top players definitely aren't the same. However, people just genuinely love that damn game so much that they'll play through parts like if they have to. Is kind of where I feel that actually came from. But yeah, we're way beyond we pulled the Mortal Kombat. We're way beyond this.
Yep. Now I'm gonna pull the hook on you as
you
UMK11.
We're already over by like 10 minutes. No.
Yeah, we need to move on. I agree. I'm with you guys.
No, I mean, honestly, like, I wish I would be totally down to talk about this more. Because as salty as I got even playing against Olaf, like I said, I get salty on everything these days, but there's still something about this game that feels good. I got so mad during that session, like I threw my joystick on the table, and I was like, fuck this She-Hulk Dormammu shit or whatever like that. And then after we turned off the stream, I was like, let's do this again. Because the game is just so fun, dude. The game is just so fun.
All right, we move on.
Speaking of fun games, how about that Tekken? Am I right?
Hey, I played it again recently. I picked it up again and to test out the netcode, and I played against some people in Michigan and stuff like that. The netcode was great. It was fantastic. I played someone in San Diego. I played someone in Michigan. I couldn't tell the difference between them, and it was really nice. There was only one thing about the game that I really, really disliked, which might make me not want to play it again. I definitely tweeted Harada about this. It was that I cannot equip the Dig Dug flag and a ghost monster floating above my head at the same time, and I'm really mad about that because I can have the goldfish, I can have the clownfish floating and the Dig Dug, but I can't put the ghost monster and the Dig Dug flag at the same time when they don't even occupy the same space. Like, this has to be fixed.
Can you have a shower on at the same time?
That's a good question. I'll have to check.
You should investigate whether you can wear the shower or not. Yeah.
I mean, honestly,
I do want to point out real quick though. Like, I understand that the Tekken rollback is or not the rollback, but the netcode is better and all that. But I was watching old Sajam stream. Was it yesterday? I think while I was working. I usually put on someone's stream while I'm working, and he mentioned the clip about Rip. So apparently this has been brought up on the stream before. I'm not an everyday Sajam fan watching the stream every day, but his chat immediately LOL, and then he's like, all right, fine, I'll play the clip. And the clip was literally just Rip on Ultra Chen last week talking about how the netcode in Tekken is now better, equal to or better than like KI and Skullgirls. And Sajam was just like, come on, buddy. Come on, man. You know that's not true, basically. So the clip literally was just Rip saying that dumb stuff.
Wow.
That's great.
Yeah, I believe it's better, but I do not believe it's better than KI or Skullgirls.
I was surprised when Rip said that because he has had experience with games that had really good
games. Yeah, that's why I didn't want to correct him. But now that I thought about it, I really should have. Should have been like, come on, man. Don't be ridiculous.
Yeah, I look, again, I played it again, and like, I was actually sad. I was really happy to see that I haven't played Tekken 7 like in a year, honestly. Maybe since October of the previous year. I was actually glad to see I still had a lot of the muscle memory and stuff like that down for the game and stuff. So, and I remembered how much fun I had. It was one of the games that I had chosen to stop playing just because, like, very similar to the MK11 thing. I like the game, just don't have time, and it's the one that you requires the most, like, time to dedicate to the game. But even after playing it, like, I kind of want to go back and play it again. I kind of missed it, to be honest with you.
So what's the Tekken news?
Oh, yeah, that's right. The InterContinental Fight Club was announced by 10-0. So,
sick.
Again, what we're seeing here is, because we're in this situation here with this pandemic, a lot of people are working to put on these kind of online events, and this is what what 10-0 is producing. They've been planning this for a while, and now that the netcode is clearly better than KI and Skullgirls at this point in time, they can do an intercontinental tournament, and they're having 3 different streamers stream the different areas as well. So there's going to be an Asia scene, there's going to be a Europe scene, and there's going to be a US scene. The Europe one is going to be streamed on twitch.tv/Tenno Media, so it's going to be on the main Tenno channel. The US one is going to be streamed on twitch.tv/LevelUpYourGame. I guess you have to do that. That's what they did in the announcement video. And in Asia, it's going to be streamed on Majin Obama's channel. So it's going to be twitch.tv/Majin Obama. We don't have a lot of...
Not the channel I expected to hear.
What's that?
That's not the channel I expected to hear.
Which one did
Majin Obama is a Bug Snacks player now, okay? Come on, guys. Get with the program, Tenno.
But honestly, like... That's pretty cool. We don't have any other details about that, but they said it's the Intercontinental Fight Club 2021. So I have this funny feeling it's going to be a pretty long event. I don't know how long. I don't know if it's going to be a year-long event, a months-long event, weeks-long event, week-long event. Who knows? We don't have a lot of details about it just yet, but clearly they are trying to do something pretty ambitious, in terms of intercontinentality. Is that a word?
I'll accept it.
Is that a word?
Yeah, it's English.
now.
Yeah, it is a word now. Yeah.
Okay.
Every word's a made-up word.
Nice. So,
anyway, yeah, I think that's super cool.
Yeah, I mean, congrats to Tenno.
Definitely. Yeah, and
taking on that, and I'm sure they can do it.
Whatever it ends up being is something I'm sure that will be cool. They've been doing Friday night streams. The Tubo's been on and stuff, and James as well. And that's cool. Like, they're definitely trying to do more stuff on their own thing, in addition to basically being the streamer for, like, a ton of events that you don't know that it's them, because it's on, like, Capcom Fighters or Tekken or whatever the channel is that it's on. But I'm happy that there's more stuff that they're doing themselves as well. I think that's super cool.
Yeah, it's cool. They got a lot of talent there, so they should.
Yeah, and I wonder how much they knew about, like, maybe Tenno had some word that the... Because obviously you don't just throw out this thing being like, oh, cool, the netcode is ready. And then you just throw... I wonder if they knew that the netcode was going to get this kind of major improvement.
Well, they were doing the World Tour anyways before it ended up getting canceled.
That's true.
Tekken and Namco, so maybe this is just the makeup for that. Or even just next year's event now, with 2021.
Yeah.
So...
But I think that's really cool, though. I think that's really neat. Yeah. I'm glad to hear about this. And again, Tekken 7, I think, is getting a nice little kick in the arm, punch in the arm right now. Because, for a while, I was hearing a lot of negativity because of Leroy, because of Fakumran. But it seems like, a lot of that has been addressed. The netcode is good again. And so a lot of the, love that Tekken 7 has been receiving in the past decade, I feel like is all kind of just surging back here, and I like to see that. I mean,
I honestly feel like Tekken is the king of the FGC right now.
Yeah.
I mean, when I came in, it was all Street Fighter Marvel, basically, right? But that's changed over time, especially in like 2016, 2017. A lot of people started playing different games, and I think that Tekken is the most recognizable fighting game in the FGC at the moment. I mean, there's a lot of big stories coming out, especially from like the Middle East and stuff, and players that we had never heard of that finally got to break out and play. A lot of great things have been happening for Tekken in like the past 3 years. It's a good time to be a Tekken player.
It's really nice because there was that period when Tekken was definitely down compared to other games. There were always the hardcore in there, but it was not. Yeah. People didn't watch it as much. They didn't enter it as much. It was quite a long period like that. But I mean, when I started, and for many years after that, it was one of the main games of the FGC, and it just had this like high position, and then it fell off. So for me, Tekken being back as one of the main games just feels like it's how it should have been all along. Feels right again, which I'm really happy about.
It feels like all is right because it was always Street Fighter and Tekken, Street Fighter and Tekken.
Seriously,
Shuriken.com versus TekkenZaibatsu.com. It was like always those two games, and then during the Tekken Tag 2, Tekken 5, Tekken 6, like it just kind of fell off a little bit. At least in the States it did, I'll say that.
Yeah, in the States. And in the States, other games were never as big. KOF was never as big. Like this is all definitely regional, but certainly where we were, Tekken was one of the main ones and then wasn't, and I'm really happy that it is again.
Yeah, and again, I will give so much credit to the Tekken development team for the visual improvements that they put in Tekken 7. The slow-mo, the zoom-ins on the counter hits, the trading going all black and white and stuff like that. All those little things are really, really cool. And the only thing that's missing now from this game and from almost every game now is I want to see the consistent counter hit, the consistent punish monikers on the screen. You know, Tekken is old school enough that a lot of people don't want, especially counter hit. They want you to be able to recognize it. But I mean, you already get the zoom in on some of the counter hits already. But I really want to see the punish thing that KI, that Mortal Kombat does and stuff like that. I think that's really important in fighting games these days.
Works for me.
Yeah, it'd be
All
cool.
right.
We'll see.
Let's. We got 40 seconds. Anybody want to say anything else?
Man, I feel like I did have something, but now it's gone, so it couldn't have been that important. It was probably just some stupid quip.
Okay.
Some little joke.
Game is super fun. Game is still really fun to me. Like I said, I really enjoy it. And, God, if only there was enough time to play every friggin' fighting game out there right now, dude. I'm still terrible at Tekken, and it still makes me frustrated, and it's hard to learn, but I'm so glad I'm at a point where I understand it enough to play it now. Whereas before I didn't even get what you're supposed to do, so.
But do you know what you're supposed to do in Killer Instinct?
No.
Well, shit. I guess you're screwed on the both last topics, James. Sorry about that.
No, actually, to be honest with you, I get what Killer Instinct you're supposed to do, but every character is like their own game.
Yeah.
Part of why it's a great game.
Yep.
For sure. Well, what's going on in Killer Instinct?
KI World Cup 2021 got announced by Brandon Alexander, the guy still running KI Cup, essentially.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to be all online for obvious reasons. But that doesn't really matter too much because KI has great netcode.
Yep.
Not as good as Tekken 7's, but still great.
According to Rip.
Alexa.
According to Rip. Don't put my name on that stamp. There's no way. I'm not agreeing to that.
Play the clip.
Yeah, exactly. Play the clip. Bring up the evidence. Exhibit A. No, so yeah, it sounds like it's going to be all online. There's going to be qualifiers, and there's a point system, and there's money. And I told Brandon to get in touch with Sermi from Matcherino.
Yeah.
Because the money shown was good, but it could definitely be better. I mean, Rocket Arena gets like $400, $500 tournaments from Matcherino, and 10 people play that game. So surely KI's pot could be sweetened through Matcherino. So I hope he talks to them. But yeah, it looks really cool. I can only assume that it's all going to run smoothly. It always has before with Brandon. And I really hope they hit me up for some commentary, but we'll see. Nobody has yet, but I don't think anybody knew this was really coming. I mean, Brandon had hinted at it before and was kind of like, I'll see what I can do. But then he just dropped a bomb on us. Yesterday, the day before? It was on his birthday, so happy birthday, Brandon.
Oh, sick. I didn't know that.
And we have the same name. But, yeah, Brandon Alexander's a super nice dude, and he's done a great job running the World Cup in the past, and we didn't have one for the past, 2 years? And now it's back. So
2017 was the last one, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Something like that, 2017, 2018, whatever. Somewhere around.
I'm surprised he hasn't pushed for a sumo wrestler to be added to KI right now.
Well, man, you shouldn't joke about that. You know that there was like a stupid rumor 4 or 5, whenever Fulgore got added to the game, that Brandon paid, I don't think it was Iron Galaxy at the time even. I think it was whoever had...
Double Helix?
Double Helix? Yeah. He paid them money to make Fulgore top tier. And, that was a real conspiracy theory through the KI players for, a long time. I'm not joking. I wasn't around back then. These are the stories I've been told from the ones that came before me. But, yeah, that was so you can't joke about Brandon Alexander pushing for a character to be put in the game. If somebody's going to go, wait a minute, that guy paid Iron Galaxy to do that.
You'd have to front a lot of money for them to put a new character in, because that includes rehiring people to work on it, actually having it a game that somebody's working on.
Dude, you'd have to front a lot of money to make a character that's already in the game better. That takes work too, you know? But people believe that. Whatever.
That's pretty wild. All right. So, do you have more details about this?
They haven't
No,
announced.
that's. Oh, does James? Do you have that?
No, I was just about to say they haven't announced much more than that.
Yeah, that's
honestly.
pretty much it. There's like 4 qualifying events that if you win, you get an automatic qualifying spot or something like that.
Actually,
And
I
then,
do have a little bit more information here. Yeah, so there's 4 Combo Clash online events, $1,000 start prize pool for each of
There
the
you
4
go.
events. $25 entry fee for each clash to help support KI events. That's going to be interesting because obviously, I guess that doesn't go to the prize money, so that makes it legal, David. I'm not sure. You'll have to
Whatever.
There's going to be a ton of free KI World coffee.
Sure.
You want a cup of coffee? A ton of free KIWC qualifiers and a 5K prize pool for the online finals. So there you go.
So I mean, we're looking at 9K to start in total.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's not bad. I don't know where Brandon got the money, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna question it. Thanks for throwing that at KI, man.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I think this is really cool. Again, this is a game that has had a bit of a resurgence over the past year on account of everybody's been inside, and it has fantastic netcode. So I know that it's a game that I've been playing this year because I thought to myself, well, I have time to play maybe 2 or 3 games at any one time to be actively learning and playing. And tournaments aren't I'm not going to be traveling around, so there's no commentary money for me to even worry about. This is not a concern whether I should learn a game due to commentary gigs or not.
Right.
So what game do I like that I haven't played in a while that I can play from home and has fantastic netcode? And for me, it was KI. So I'm really happy that there's been a resurgence. It's not just this. There's also an upcoming event this weekend that we'll talk about. They have been having more tournaments in the scene. Been more people playing it again. It's great.
What happened with the amateur event you were supposed to be part of?
That is this weekend. We'll talk about that in the upcoming events. Yeah.
Okay.
Spoilers. Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to.
No, that's cool. Is there anything else to say about the KI World Cup?
I don't have anything unless James has something. I say we give the people their 4 minutes back.
Well, actually, I wanted to mention another thing that we didn't put up here that I had forgotten to put up here.
Okay. Well, I did just want to mention that I think this is really cool. I mean, looking at this, UMVC 3, Tekken 7, KI, I mean, this is just fantastic. Obviously a lot of people have been asking us questions and talking about the pandemic and what it's been doing to our scene and everything like that. But the one thing about the fighting game community is that we adapt. We're very mobile. We come up with solutions and we figure out ways to do things. And so, it's just really happy for me to see that, we have, it sucks because 2021 is probably going to be a lot of this again. But, I'm glad that we're at a point where we're figuring out ways to make the fighting game community continue to thrive during this time. So.
Sounds right. All right. Well, the thing that I wanted to mention other than this is that WePlay, which is a very large esports organization for other games, has announced their first FGC tournament, and it's a Mortal Kombat tournament.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and it's going to be December 10th through 13th. They're calling it the Dragon Temple, and it has a $60,000 prize pool.
What?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, Sonic Fox and Ninja Killer and Rewind, go get yours.
For sure, yeah. So yeah, like I said, they haven't done FGC stuff before. They're getting into it by way of MK, which I think is a great pick, especially for the scenes that they're doing stuff for. And I don't have many more details than that, other than that it is December 10th through 13th, and that it is $60,000. They put it up on their Twitter account that this is what they're going to be doing. So cool. We'll see, but I think that's cool. It's I am happy to have more people doing stuff in the scene. I'm not worried that, I'm worried sometimes when there's a big outside group that comes in and they they're like, guess what? There's going to be $1 million. And you're like, all right, is this real? But I don't think it's like that. They're more proven than that. So I'm happy to have that involved. And they have been reaching out to people. I've actually been writing a column for them the last month and this month on anything FGC. And part of the reason that I agreed to do that is that they agreed to let me write whatever I want. Mm-hmm. And I can be as honest as I want. So if I think that they screw up this event next month, my column's definitely going to be about WePlay screwed this up. And I told them that. I was like, this is my condition. And they were like, it wasn't even a condition that I had to make. They were like, we want you to be as honest as possible. That was like a condition that they had.
I can't wait for David's review of Samurai Showdown. Just paragraphs of
800 words of fart noises. Yeah.
I can't wait.
That would actually be... All right, I'm going to save that. Just very descriptive of different farts over and over again. It's
Exactly.
Just paragraph after paragraph of different categories of farts.
That review would be the shit.
Oh
Want to
boy,
see shit?
I'm gonna blow you away. Anyway, yeah,
All right, well, yeah, that's cool.
December 10th to 13th, $60,000. Yeah, I'm sure we'll talk more about that as there's more info that comes out. But cool.
Okay. I guess we'll move on a little bit to the 5-5 matchup stuff. We did not get a pullout for everybody this time, so we actually culled through some of the old questions that we had, and we're going to do that for the viewer stuff. But
Cool.
before we get into that, we just want to talk a little bit about the Street Fighter League this past week. There's really not much of a debate here or anything like that. This is just something that I just kind of wanted to address because it was one of the... If you guys remember... for those of you who watched the Street Fighter League last time, Punk's team went down 0-2 against Team Nasser, which is Big Bird, Angry Bird, and Samurai. And so Punk's teammates, Nephew and CJ Truth, it is CJ Truth, right? Yeah, they went down 0-2, and Punk had to reverse OCV. Now, for a player like Punk to, reverse OCV, a team like that, probably nothing crazy. But it was very interesting that during the interview that Rob TV had afterwards, that Punk started to get very, very emotional. He started to cry up. He started to tear up. And Rob, did a great job, letting him, take his time and everything, and asked him why he was so emotional. And Punk responded that, he kind of almost considers himself like as a mentor to guys like CJ Truth and Nephew, and he really wanted to do it for the team and everything like that. And,
And he said that they were some of his best friends.
Yeah, they were.
Well, isn't Nephew his roommate? Like, don't they live
Yeah, no, he
together?
lives with
his
Nephew.
roommate.
Okay.
And honestly, I just wanted to bring it up because I thought it was really neat to see, to be honest with you. I thought it was a great side to see. I mean, we've obviously seen him get emotional before when he lost to Tokido at EVO. That was one of the things that made me realize how much it meant to him. Also, that South by Southwest tournament that we did, you remember that, David? Where he went, he did super well in the first section, and then he went 0-2 in the tournament section, and, his head was down. He was distraught. And, this is the kind of side of Punk that I kind of wish, we would get to see a little more often, because I think it's so important. And, to see, we all know how cocky he can be and how confident he can be, but to see this side of him and how much, there is about this family, about this, drive to win and stuff like that, I think is really cool to see. And, I just wanted to bring it up because, I feel like these are things that people don't talk about a lot. And I just think that it was a really, really cool, very genuine moment on Street Fighter League. So
Sure.
He typically is out there with swagger and braggadocio, and he comes off as being very sure of himself, at least when it comes to things like fighting games, Street Fighter. But yeah, there's definitely this side of him as well that I think is great and is definitely an insight as to why he's such a strong player. He hates to lose, obviously, and he's doing it for more than just the idea of trying to beat everybody, right? There's more than that that's in there for him, which is really nice to see too, that it can be about other people even rather than just himself. So yeah, I thought that was really great. I would say, in my personal opinion, that the actual star of that segment was Rob TV on his interviewing duties.
yeah,
He did a fantastic job at kind of drawing that out of Punk, and of not just letting Punk be there and get teary, but getting him to not just cry or whatever, but to explain and illuminate like why he is so emotional at this. And that kind of thing is not super easy on interviews, but I felt that Rob really nailed it. So congrats to Rob for that segment. I mean, he's been doing a great job the whole time, but I felt like that was a real standout moment to me.
The way that he handled that, it could have been a kind of weird, awkward moment.
Yeah, it could have been. Yeah, for sure.
But Rob made it a genuine and a really, really heartfelt kind of thing. So
yeah,
absolutely, absolutely.
I think that's what happens when you get a competitor to play host, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Rob still competes and plays hard. Like, he's been there.
That's true, and he understands that mindset, which is important, but most players would not have been able to interview in that way still.
Oh, I mean, no, I'm not
there's
saying
certainly like a crossover there of I am a top player, I also can do this side of it that I think doesn't show up very often. So shout outs to Rob again.
Sure. Yeah, of course.
I mean, obviously, as a person who was kind of known for crying at Evo and stuff like that, but, you know, when I see the people get emotional like that, that's what makes me, you know, like, it makes me appreciate the moments even more. You know, back to KI when CD Jr. won that and he got emotional on stage and started crying. Like, that was such a wonderful moment, you know, in my opinion. You know, things like that, I think really are what shows you how competitive all these people are. Yeah, there's a lot of people out there who like to say it's just video games. It's not just video games.
Well, I don't. Why even bring that up? Come on.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
Yeah. Shout outs to Punk on that. Shout outs to Rob TV. All right. Anything else there?
Nope.
No.
We move on.
All right.
Sick.
So as I mentioned, we didn't get a pullout this time because David's usually one that handles that. Unfortunately, you know, he had the kitty emergency earlier today, so he didn't manage to get the pullout. And so what we decided to do was just go back to the last couple of weeks, pull out 2 questions that we thought were really good, and just answer them over here right now. So the first one we chose was from last week, which was someone asked if unowned DLC characters should be playable for people on, like, in training mode. Like, should all unpurchased DLC characters be available so that you can mess with them in training mode? And you know, this is definitely a very interesting question because obviously a lot of these people are competing, and you know it's helpful to learn how to fight against these characters and such like that. I don't know, like, what do you guys think? I'll let you guys start on this one.
I think that all fighting games moving forward should be a free-to-play model, and in that free-to-play model, yeah, you should be able to try out anyone in training mode. At the very least, you should be able to set them as the dummy. Maybe not player 1, but player 2, and then if you really want to control player 2 and try it out that way. But at least they need to have it in a way that you can learn how to punish that character. Learn how to fight against that character.
Okay, yeah.
If you want to use that character in story mode or arcade mode or online or offline versus whatever the case may be, then yeah, you should have to pay for it. But I do think that at the very least, you should be able to set your opponent to that character in training mode and learn how to punish them at the very bottom of the barrel minimums.
Yeah, I think that sounds right to me too. I do think that that's pretty reasonable. I think that there may be a fear on the side of developers, or even if this is even technically feasible for them. I mean, I don't know how their games are set up, right? Can you make one selectable in one mode, not another? I don't know how it works.
Right.
But if it does work that way, then maybe there's some fear that allowing people to use the character in training mode means that you would get fewer sales because people
I'm sure.
I don't think so. I know. I don't think it's like that. I think that in general, when you get a model that's like that, where you have the ability to like use something in a limited capacity, just enough to like understand what's going on and to explore whether you like it. No, I think that would result in more sales. You could try it out in training mode, see if you like the character, if you find it interesting or not. And if you do, you got to buy it to play, local or to play online or, you know, whatever it may be. But no, I definitely think that would result in more. I think that's like how the internet works, kind of like you get to like sales of music are not down, even though you can get access to infinite free music, because you get instead what you do is you see who you like, what artists you like, and then you go buy it or on iTunes or Spotify, and that's how the internet has basically been.
I was just about to say, make that same example. I'm one of those people who still tries to buy as much music as possible, right? And, but if I'm not certain, a lot of times I will find ways to listen to it for free. And after I do that, and if I like them enough, I will probably end up buying them. There's certain artists out there that I've become huge fans of just through that, and, most likely if I get a song for free and I don't like the artist enough to pay it, I wouldn't have bought it anyway to test it out.
Right.
They didn't
exactly.
lose any sales. No one's lost any sales from me in terms of music. It's
I think it is right what VTN Wesley says in the chat. You'd lose a few and gain a few. I think that may be right, that you would lose some. Some people would not. Some people are out there buying a character just to practice against it.
I honestly think...
I don't think it's that many, but I'm sure that would exist.
I think that a lot of devs would be worried that they would lose their, maybe not overall DLC sales, but I think they would fear losing the people that buy season packs. Because if you can try that on training mode, maybe you only like 4 out of 6 characters in the pack. So now you buy them individually and they lose a little bit of money or whatever the case may be. And I think that might be some of the problems, some of the fear.
4 out of 6 is probably as much as the season.
I mean, probably, it's just whatever.
But
whatever,
I know what you mean, like two of them or something like that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think that maybe they're worried about losing some season pack sales.
The thing about it is, like, someone brought up the thing from NuckleDoo who said, I've never even purchased Alex, right? Like.
Yeah,
he's never bought them, even when they're you're not gonna lose sales necessarily because the people who aren't gonna buy them are just not gonna buy it.
I mean, yeah, that's it. I mean, well, that's like the argument against piracy in general too, though, right? Like the people that pirate stuff weren't gonna buy it anyway, so the people that create the things aren't losing money as they just weren't gonna get it regardless. But yeah, no, I do. I think you should be able to at least train against the characters. I don't know if she'll be able to play them as first player in any mode. You definitely shouldn't be able to use them for free online or whatever, unless it's like,
that makes sense.
They're the rotation character. But yeah, I think you should definitely be able to train against that stuff, because if you're putting out a $60 game and you want to keep supporting that game as a developer for 4 years and keep putting out season packs, like, you're gonna separate the player base eventually if people don't have those characters. And a lot of people just want to pay their $60 and play the game occasionally and not worry about staying super up to date on every season pack, every character drop. So I think it's more fair to your fan base to do that. However, as a like a game dev and production company and all that shit, like, I get why you wouldn't, like, why you'd be hesitant. I understand.
Sure, yeah, I understand being cautious about that. I just think that it would work out a certain way, but I don't know. Maybe they've done the math. Maybe they've done that. Maybe they've gone to that idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think right now if KI lets you practice against anyone, and I feel like it does, but I don't know because I've owned the game forever. I honestly don't remember.
I don't remember either.
I mean,
so, I don't know.
I kind of want a middle ground of this. We've seen it before. You've seen the hacks before, right? Where they put Chun-Li on Abigail's skeleton on the thing, and she just like turns into the most grotesque monster ever, right?
Yeah.
Like, I would be totally down, because this would serve 2 purposes. To have a model that's just like a mannequin, kind of like Mokujin.
Yeah, I'll say you're asking for a Mokujin.
Yeah. Right, so I'm asking for a Mokujin in training mode that can emulate any character, because then at the same time, I feel like the amount of loading for a new character would be reduced. And so if you want to test something against one character and then immediately test against another character, go to the menu, pick it, and it'll just freeze there for a few seconds. The character will change, and then all of a sudden you can play against that character. I think
that's really cool, but it sounds like even more work than
maybe
just letting you pick the character to train against.
Yeah, but it would just be so nice in training mode, man.
I think it'd be really cool. But yeah, I don't foresee devs going, we'll let them try out anyone on this Mokujin like character, and we're gonna program it all ourselves. Like I don't see that happening. It's a good idea though. Like if I made a fighting game, I think that would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good middle ground for there, because then you could test the characters out, but like they don't have any voices. You know, they don't have any like crazy, you know, extra things in there, and so that way it's not appealing to use them, so you're not going to sit there and play in training mode with someone else, so the devs won't feel like they're losing money, you know, because if you really want to play Abigail and have his intros and but otherwise there's no noise, you know, and so it doesn't make it appealing, but it allows you to train against them. Like you said, it probably would take a little more work, but still.
All right.
Anyway, I'd like to see this. So my understanding is that For Honor lets you do this, and that's cool. It seems like a good idea.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's done that to the degree that we're talking about anyway.
Yeah.
And it would be cool. I think it would be cool to see.
Okay. Anything else to say on this one?
No.
All right. The other question that we decided to pick, which I really kind of liked, actually, and, you know, glad we get to go back to this, is 2 weeks ago, one of the questions that was asked was...
Hey, it's a kitty cat.
Is there a single best way to play a character? And is there a single best way to play a character matchup? So in other words, is there an optimal way to play a character? Like, if you want to talk about the best blah player of all time, should everybody try to emulate that player exactly? Or can a character be just as effective in two different styles? Not counting, you know, like Mortal Kombat customizations and isms and variations and stuff like that.
So are we talking about in games played today or for fighting games forever?
I think this is just a general question.
Because if you ask me, is there an optimal way to play like Dalsim or Akuma or whatever in Street Fighter V, I couldn't tell you the difference between maybe like I shouldn't say that. Broski is pretty original. Outside of Broski, like all the other Dalsims look the same to me. All the other Akumas look the same to me.
I feel like that's one of the characters.
If you ask me that in Street Fighter 4, I can definitely tell you the difference between each Akuma and what their tendencies are, and each Dalsim, and so. Yeah, I think if you're playing Street Fighter V, just play like Tokido, I guess.
I think that this is just when you get to that level of granularity, almost every game allows for player self-expression, and like in SF5, I can really tell the difference between different Dalsims, and even at this point, I know if it's a certain Cammy or Karen player a lot of the time, like characters who I think that are harder to have personal expression in. So you just gotta know the game a lot, and I feel like then you can do it. So I think that's not the question. The question is like, it's broader than that. It is, as a general rule, is there a best way to play a character without talking about like an individual game?
I would think so. Yeah.
I don't think that's true. I think that's not right.
I think that is true. I think if you play optimally, if you are like Jesus, if you are God, if you are Allah, and you pick up the stick and you play the game. Like, why would Ken ever lose? You could just light punch DP everything, right? Like, I feel like at the highest level of technicality, like, sure, of course, there is a best way to play a character, but for human beings, I don't know. It's.
I mean, we don't need to take into consideration like how.
Listen, man, I'm talking about aliens come from the sky, and they say first to 10 in Marvel. Who are you picking to play? That's what I'm talking about, David. That's I
think at all levels of play for humans. Yeah, I think that it's not true that there's a single best way to play a character. I think in every case, the player themselves is an extremely important part of the calculation as to how to play optimally. Different people have, I would say, different optimal ways to play the same character in the same game, because each person has a different way of making decisions and a different set of things that they like to do or don't like to do. So I don't think that's true. I think that the same thing is true with the character matchup, but I think even more broadly than that, the question doesn't ask about player matchups, and player matchups are extremely important in fighting games. So when you're playing against somebody else, it's not just a character matchup; it's a player matchup, always. And there is not an optimal way to do that, right? There may be an optimal way to beat each individual player, like that is to say, one player may lose to the same kinds of things regardless of the game or the character that they're using, and that's, so there may be an optimal way to do that, but I think that this question doesn't take into account the fact that the opponent character is being used by a person, and so as a result, you have to take into account the player as much as the character and find the optimal way to get through there, rather than just thinking that you're playing against the character itself.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
I think it also just depends on the character, right? Like if you look at a game like Super Turbo,
Yeah.
Ryu, oh my gosh, like, is there one best way to play Ryu? I can't in my heart believe that.
No, I agree with you. Yeah.
I've seen so many different Ryus, right? Now, if you're a claw player in Super Turbo, yeah, I mean, everybody's just derping around off the wall.
Crouching strong or stand medium kick until you get a knockdown, or slide, then you get a knockdown, and now you're going off the wall.
Right, exactly. It's clearly...
Yeah, okay, fair enough. So
high skill
definitely,
level.
there are some characters in some matchups where this is going to be constrained a little bit. Even in those cases, you watch claw players, and honestly, like, there are differences.
Yeah.
But sure, there are some characters that I think are more conducive to having differences among players than others. I think that's true. But I still think that even in the characters that are less conducive to it, that you'll still find that there are differences between people, and that needs to be taken into account when you think about what's optimal.
Yeah, for the most part, I would probably be more on the side that, for sure, that there's no one optimal way to play a character, because, like David said, it changes so much based off of the person that you're fighting. If we do take all that away and it's just like deity versus deity, and they both played the same character, would they play the same character in the exact same way because they're both deities? Then probably yes, but that means that they would play the character in all the different ways that people could play the character. You know what I mean? Like, then if as a human you would have the offensive Ryu and the defensive Ryu. If you had the deities, then they would be so good at switching between the offensive and the defensive Ryus based on who they're playing against. So they would be playing the same way as each other, because they would both be playing all the different possible styles.
Yeah, I mean that's basically what I was saying. If we're talking unrealistic, not humans playing, then yeah, there's very obviously
well, that's what I mean, because the reason why there's an obvious way that they would play optimally is because they would play in whatever way the character needs to be played, which is many different styles. So,
but yeah, I mean, yeah, in terms of like humans, nah, man, I don't think it's very much the person versus person matchup, like you and David had said. I don't think we're in too much disagreement here on this fight. Like, we're not disagreeing, guys. Fight me on something.
How dare you? How dare
you?
you?
Tell me Marvel is bad, or give me something to fight about.
How dare you?
Grapplers are the fundamental of footsies.
Bro, don't do that again. Don't do that again. Grapplers are the biggest fraud characters on the face of the earth.
It's so crazy, man. I never where did this? I know people used to hate kick throws a long time ago, but it's funny to me that there's this new wave of grappler hating. I didn't realize that
it's definitely new. They're right at the beginning of fighting games, people didn't like grabs. Then for 20 years, this wasn't a topic of conversation really in the FGC. And then it has come back. I don't really know why.
It's way less the grappler archetype and way more the type of person you got to be to play a grappler.
What?
You have to have a certain mindset to play a grappler and be successful.
You mean you have to be able to read opponents and know where to stand and have excellent...
No, you have to be willing to drive your forehead into a concrete wall until it breaks. And then when it breaks, you steal the whole bank. You got it all. It's yours.
Is my forehead the thing that broke you, or was the wall the thing that broke?
The wall obviously breaks.
Okay,
Don't break your forehead.
Okay.
You're not gonna be winning. That's what happens when you lose. Your forehead couldn't stand up to the concrete, and you get your brains bashed in and you lost. But generally speaking, you're gonna see right through that wall eventually, and they're taking all the cash.
Well, that sounds like a genius strategy.
All right, game and FGC news. Go next topic. Here we go.
Alrighty, what do you got?
First of all, Guilty Gear Accent Core XX Accent Core Plus R has had that netcode beta that's been rolled out, and people have been playing it, and you see all these memes and stuff with people going, man, once this beta ends, I have to go back to other games. Oh, I can't.
Yeah.
How am I ever going to do this again? Well, guess what? ArcSys decided to extend the beta indefinitely until the game comes out. So
basically it's released. I mean,
they just said, here, have it, go play it, have fun. Like, we love, I'm sure they love the attention that it's getting and the buzz that it's getting, and the more people tweet about it, the more people get to play the game. And I see that this is such a great move on their part. I think it's wonderful. I think it's really showing how ArcSys is staying so connected to the community and just to the pulse of what everybody is saying. And
I'd really be interested to see Plus R's sales records on Steam over time.
Yeah.
Because I can almost guarantee you, like, I, in my heart, believe that whatever that game had sold up until Rollback got released for it, it probably like doubled or tripled after that. Because I think like the Steam chart said there have been like 100 people online at most in that game at one time up until this, and then all of a sudden there's like 1,600, 2,000 people playing. So like there's like that game had to have, like, the sales had to go through the roof.
Yeah, I mean,
also, it has been on sale for like $3. So a lot of people are like, why not? You know?
But
Yeah, I bought it for $3.
It's been on sale for $3 in the past.
Yeah, but
but when it doesn't have rollback, you're not going to buy it.
Exactly. I bought it specifically to support it. I'm not like planning to play Plus R, all right, to be frank. Like, I'm not planning to do that, but I wanted to support it. It's a really good idea to support. If you have a spare $3, I really like it, because it's not just that it's great netcode, and hats off to all the players who love it, who can play, but I also really want to demonstrate to developers that this is something that we'll pay money for.
Yeah, it's important.
And even above that, that is to say, that we'll pay money for a rollback. I also really want to support the idea of them supporting a community project that it was by turning it into something official. So I want to support that model as well. I think that's super cool. I think the rollback's super cool. $3, absolutely, I'll support that. So yeah, I bet Brock's right. There probably are, I don't know if it's double or triple, but whatever the number is, it's a lot more than they have been selling.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah. And the other greatest thing about everybody playing the game right now is they realize how cancerous Testament is, and now everyone's like, actually, I don't want this character back anymore. Man,
good old Testament.
Testament was
on
such
the
a
watch.
problem. No, I mean, seriously though, it's cool to see everybody playing this and seeing how everybody is really getting into the game right now. And I mean, honestly, if the one thing we've learned during this pandemic is that fighting games don't die.
Yep.
It's like, if they're good games, they're good games, and they'll keep being played, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful to see. And again, like, this is just more ammunition for all the Japanese devs out there to be like, okay, this is important. We need to do this. I
mean, realistically, Capcom kind of led the way, but dropped the ball with Street Fighter V. But then it picked it back up with MVCI. MVCI is pretty good netcode. It's not the greatest, but it's good for like standard rollback. And then ArcSys, you know, they announced with Trive, well, you know, we'll have rollback, and they actually went back and changed it because the first beta we got was delay based, and they were straight up like, look, rollback's not ready yet, but it'll be ready for the next beta or whatever, you know. So yeah, I feel like Capcom and ArcSys were already kind of pushing it. I hope that this moves on to like Namco and et cetera, so we get nothing but rollback.
Alexa, play the clip.
I will say that I do think Street Fighter V kind of set us backwards a little, because it was like, this is rollback netcode, and everyone played it and was like, this is garbage.
Yeah,
you know, I feel like
Maybe.
Street Fighter V set us backwards a little bit in the early days, especially in Japan, because they're like, the rest of the netcode is far better than this. What is happening here? But as people have now been able to experience real rollback netcode, you know, where you see the Japanese player playing. We were talking about it last week, how David, you were mentioning that, like, maybe they didn't have great netcode this whole time, and now the Japanese players are like, whoa, this is amazing, you know.
Right.
So, yeah, and MVCI sales performance didn't do well either, so they're like,
well, also, Capcom didn't really, like, try to advertise it that MVCI had rollback. They kept it hidden. They didn't talk about how great the netcode was or that they fixed it from Street Fighter V or anything like that. Yeah. And I remember before the game came out, you know, Marvel players were all trying to get it early, and quite a few of us got it like a week or so early. And we were testing out the netcode, and our minds were blown because it was so good. It was so strong.
No,
so
the netcode wasn't that good. They were all just shills, remember?
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why Marvel Infinite failed, but
yeah.
But it wasn't the netcode, is what I'm saying. You know?
All right. What happened with Cammy?
New costume out for Cammy. They're continuing this weird tradition now where they are importing Fexel costumes from the Street Fighter EX series and Fighting EX layer into Street Fighter V. So Cammy has now become Blair. Blair Dame.
Who's Blair?
Cammy has a Blair Dame costume. And
who's Blair?
Who's Blair?
Blair is one of the characters from Fighting EX layer.
Oh, okay, sure.
She's the one that has
the second one, right?
I don't know how else to describe her. She's not particularly remarkable as a character from the EX series. She was very generic.
I guess that's why I don't recall.
Yeah.
So that's cool that Cammy is her. Do they look similar, or
look?
What's the reason?
I don't know. And I'm actually really mad that they did not just make Cammy into Pullum Purna. Because Pullum Purna literally has a drill kick on the ground and a dive drill kick. Like, why didn't they make Cammy Pullum Purna? That just doesn't make sense to me at all. So, I think it would have made more sense if they made her in the Pullum costume, but I guess Blair, maybe she's Western, so they wanted to do that. I don't know. Like, I'm not sure what their logic is. I really, really wish that they had chosen Pullum.
They just really wanted to put Blair on Cammy. That was their logic.
Yeah, I think
we want to see what Cammy would look like cosplaying this other character. That's why they did it.
So this is what? This is 3 or 4 characters now?
3 now, I think, because it's Kairi
Hokuto. I know it's Skullomania.
Oh, is Blair from UK? Is that what it is? Maybe that's just what it is. So, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the thing, is they'll probably save Pullum for Manat just because they're both ethnic, you know? And that'll probably make it work or something like that. But like I said, it just would have, just like I said, I would, like, if they were going to put Felicia in the game, it should have been Nikali. I swear to God, that should have been Nikali. Should have had
that. Would have been cool. I would have been about it.
Yeah.
That would have been cool. Anyway, so which Fexel character is going to be announced as the 5th character that's coming to Street Fighter V's next season?
It's got to be Skullomania, dude.
It's got to be somebody from Fighting EX Layer, right? At this point,
honestly, I think the fact that they have 3 costumes now makes me feel like it's not a Fexel character.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe they just had a deal to do some crossover costumes. I think doing 1 costume to get people hype would be like, oh, okay, yeah, like that's the teaser. Doing 3 of them makes me feel like they were just gonna do some costumes, and maybe Fexel will get some Street Fighter crossover costumes, and that's that. It kind of ruins the Skullomania thought for me now.
Oh, really? It actually makes it less likely for you.
It makes it in the way marketing works in my brain. Yeah, I think that makes it way less likely. I don't think they just feed it to you like that. I don't think they go, here's Fexel, now take a Fexel character on top of it and like it.
It's
like,
too
I don't think they're gonna
obvious,
do that.
in other words. It's too totally in your face.
It's too on the nose, man. I don't think it's a Fexel character anymore now.
Huh.
Interesting. Okay. I like that. I like that train of thought. I mean, I was thinking that it was just guaranteed, and everyone who hates Skullomania is praying for a Skolo costume. Although that didn't stop Gil at all, but still, like I really honestly thought that this was. But now that you've mentioned it, yeah, I can kind of see that though. It might be a little too in your face.
Too much, man. Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know. What do you think, David? You guaranteed us last time that it was not Skullomania, I think.
Yeah, you should be loving my theory last time. You said you knew things.
Yeah.
What?
Last time
I don't
you were
remember
like,
this conversation at all.
Last time you were like, I guarantee you it won't be Skullomania. I think he was trying to troll us, and he just doesn't remember at this
I have
point.
no memory of this. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely said I've seen things or something like
No,
that.
he made it sound like he had seen things, but he was like, look, I can guarantee you guys that there will be no Skullomania. And so the two of us are like, do you know something? And he was like, I just guarantee you there will be.
Next
I
topic.
have no memory of this conversation at all. But
Yeah,
all right.
well, hey man, it's in the archives. YouTube.com/.
I trust you. I trust you. When somebody tells me that I said something, I just believe them because I think other people have better memories of what I say and do than I do.
Dude,
Oh,
Right?
David, do you remember when you said
That's
you were
been
going to
my
buy me that PS5? I'll DM you my address after the show just to remind you. But you totally said that.
There was that one time on our show where
I'm serious though. I really do.
No.
I really do act that way.
there was this one time on the show I remember that I was like, oh yeah, you know, like blah blah blah. And you remember, David, when we were at the one event and we went bungee jumping, like that was really cool and whatever. And like I could see the look on David's face, like, did I do that and just completely forgot?
Absolutely possible. I'm totally serious. Absolutely possible.
Jeez, man.
Oh man.
Getting old must suck.
Yeah.
Oh, that's been my life since I was a kid, dude.
Oh, all right, well.
Nothing new about that one.
Yeah.
That's why I'm so just accepting of it, because I've had like 30 years to practice of just being
Yep.
like, I don't remember, but you say you do, and you probably remember better than I do. So okay.
Oh man. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think it would
That's
have
also
got-
probably part of why, like, getting blackout drunk was actually not that big of a deal to me. Just because to find out later that I did something and I didn't remember was totally within my
Yeah,
wheelhouse.
it's just
It was
normal.
not
It's
new.
another day in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the same thing. It's normal. Exactly.
Jeez.
College. So, anything else? Oh yeah.
Well, we missed Ricky Ortiz in the weirdest commercial I've seen in a while.
Yeah, this was actually really neat. So Ricky Ortiz got interviewed and had an article written about her in Sports Illustrated El Fuego. So I don't know if it's like a particular Latin branch of the Sports Illustrated or whatever, but they had the article and they were interviewing her about her participation in this campaign by Absolute Vodka promoting diversity. And it's this really crazy commercial. There's like a whole bunch of different people in there. Some of them are animated, some of them are computer generated, some of them are live, and they do all this thing, and then they all eventually gather in one place by this lake. And they're sitting there like having a party, including like Tessa Thompson is there. I mean, you know, the girl who played Valkyrie in the Marvel movies and everything. Yeah. I think she's the one who hands Ricky Ortiz a drink in the commercial. Like it's crazy, but I mean, I think it's really cool to see the kind of impact that Ricky, you know, has helped have on the gaming world and the world at large. I think it's really, really cool.
I definitely agree with that. I agree with you guys that the commercial was like, kind of trippy, maybe.
It was weird.
I'm not opposed to that, but that was my takeaway. But it is super, super cool that Ricky has that kind of impact. Yeah, I'm really happy for her. I think that's really great. And her article was good. I read through that. She didn't write it, but like a story about her was really cool. So yeah, I mean, all around, I think that was really great.
Yeah. I mean, the
Commercial
Absolute
was
Vodka
pretty
thing, I don't know. Some people are saying it might have been a while ago. I know this article was definitely recent because it was...
Yeah, the article just came out, yeah.
Yeah, the Ricky was tweeting about this, but again, you know, I've always said that I think Ricky is one of the most important people in the fighting game community, in esports at all. She still, right now, has the record,
right next to Tupperware.
What's that?
Right next to Tupperware. It's like Tupperware, Ricky Ortiz. Like, she's real close to me.
Are you saying that you guys sat next to each other one time?
No, I'm saying I'm more important in esports than anyone. Like, ever.
Yeah, so
yeah,
anyways,
continue, James.
I'm really happy for Ricky because, I mean, honestly, you know, and she also has the record right now for player longest on any esports team. Ever, like, at all. So as long as she's still on EG, she will hold that record. So, oh man.
Yeah, I think we sold Tubbo really well just now. Good job, James. We did an excellent job of that.
Poor Tubbo.
got.
Poor Tubbo.
Anyway, shout out to Turkey. That's super cool.
Yeah. So I just wanted to bring that up. Again, Ricky helping pave the way for stuff. Then we've got results and upcoming events coming up. Obviously, we just finished CPT Online Australia, in which we had Rumors win, and he did it with Cody. So
He did.
one of the more unexpected characters to make it in there. But congratulations to Rumors for qualifying with Cody.
We did an interview with him. I commentated along with Vicious. We did an interview with him afterward, which was very cool. We brought him on a Zoom call, and he explained that he thinks Cody's just outside of top tier. He thinks that Cody is really good. His neutral game's really good. His V-Trigger is really good. Like, he really thinks highly of the character, which was really cool. And I just want to say that I thought it was one of the best top 8s that I've seen in a while. There were so many close games. There were probably 4 or 5 games that went down to the last 1 or 2 seconds, or just straight up timeout. But the ones that didn't time out were the very last second the life lead changed.
Right.
It was somebody won or lost at the very last second. And some of those were final round, final game. It was really super, super close and tense in a lot of these matches.
A lot of them
And
were
it was
also,
really fun. I really recommend checking it out if you're a Street Fighter fan and haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, a lot of them were also reverse OCV kind of things. Someone
Yes.
went up 2-0 and then the other person was just and fought all the way back and at least brought it to the last game. And
Yeah, super, super close. I really enjoyed it. 8 different characters. It was really worth watching. And just to get an idea of the Australian scene, they have a lot of talent. They have a lot of fun players, cool personalities. It was really good. I really enjoyed
Where
it.
did my boy Somniac end up placing?
Yeah, he was second place.
Oh, it was second? Okay.
He was second place. He
I mean,
blew-
I would have preferred my
He
boy
came from
to win.
loser side. And
I
he
did see he qualified from losers.
Yeah.
He blew up Rumors in set 1 of Grand Finals. Destruction 3-0, 6 straight rounds.
Wow. Okay.
Ate him alive. And then the first game of Grand Finals reset was just as dominant. He just ate Rumors up. And then Rumors, I don't even know. I haven't watched it back again. I really want to. Because Rumors all of a sudden was completely changed. He went from being walled out by Bison to being the wall. And just it felt like Bison couldn't do anything all of a sudden. It was just a complete flip, complete 180.
Yeah, you turned the hat backwards over the top.
Yeah.
Man, I can't believe you made
really
the
good.
over-the-top reference. I've done that before. People didn't know what the hell I was talking about. So.
Look, man, if you don't know what over the top is, you need to give up your citizenship. That's like a movie you should be required to watch to be an American.
Oh, man. Well, yeah, it was really cool.
It was good. So
I don't have any other results listed here. I know there was a lot of things that happened. I know there was some updates on the Rage tournament in Japan for Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. There was more stuff going on with the Dragon Ball Nationals. I know there was the 25v25 in Guilty Gear Accent Core plus R, which they had Team Elven Shadow versus Team Mahoka, I think it was. That I heard was super hype. I haven't had a chance to get to watch that yet. So there's a lot of other stuff there, but since I didn't see it, I don't think any of us saw any of these. I don't think there was much that we could comment on them, so I don't have them listed here.
Yeah.
there was a really, really good customs 2v2 tournament on Slayer's channel in Mortal Kombat 11. He's been doing really good stuff lately. Every weekend he has fun team tournaments, or this time of customs, but it was before the customs had actually come out, so it was everything was cool because we didn't know that there were going to be things that were not in tournament yet. And it was great. I mean, I really like what he's doing out there. He's getting a lot of views. A couple thousand people are there hanging out and watching, and yeah, it's awesome. I'm really happy for him, and the people who were involved in that I think are great. High five, everybody. It was cool.
Good job.
But, by the way, how do they prevent you from putting two things on at the same time that they don't want you to combine? Is it you just pick it and the other one just grays out and that's it?
There's a ratio system, so some you get 3 slots, and some are worth 2 slots.
Right, that's what I was wondering.
There's also now just some things that can't go together.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's a
Oh,
second
really? I thought it was just
arbitrary.
a ratio system.
No, that still is in there. You're right, but Now there's just a thing where it's like you can't pick this and that simultaneously. But that, to be fair, that also existed beforehand. But there are things now that you can't pair up specifically in tournament or combat league modes, competitive modes. You can still have those together if you're playing a non-competitive mode, but in competitive mode you can't. So what it does when you try to pick those two is it just has like a little X out, like the no smoking symbol. Just you can't do it.
So these custom variations, they're really not that custom.
No, there's almost nothing that satisfies like that. Like it really is almost everything goes, but some characters have this extra thing.
That's kind of disappointing for me, man. I was hoping they'll completely break the game open.
I do think that this is supposed to, like, they did this because they were just thinking like, well, this is the best version of this character, like, for sure. So everybody's just going to play this character with these things together. And if we do that, then why did we bother having custom variations?
Sure.
I don't know. This is my guess. I haven't talked with anybody about it.
Makes sense. Okay.
All right.
But for upcoming events, CPT Online North America 2 is going to be this weekend. And that one will be commentated by yours truly here, as well as him truly.
Woo! Ooh, bad commentary, not watching.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's why we haven't commented.
Is this the one where Punk has to come from losers?
Yep,
it is.
To say,
nice. All right, I actually will watch this regardless of your commentary. I was gonna watch it on anyways. Come on now.
Yeah,
that's cool. That'll be fun to see if Punk is like fired up now, especially with the Street Fighter League victory. I mean, granted, they probably film all that in like 1 or 2 days. But regardless, maybe that's fresh on his mind now.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting because he still has a bevy of characters, including Seth now. So, and that's who he was using a lot in all the Wednesday night fights and stuff. So I'm curious to see if he's going to be mostly going with Seth in that tournament. But that's going to be taking place this weekend. You mentioned, David, that the KI Beginner 3v3 is happening this weekend as well. Is that Saturday or Sunday?
That is Saturday. Yeah, that's right. So Devil May Care 4 and several other people are working on this. There's a bunch of people, so I don't want to name one, but a lot of them are doing it. It's a super cool thing. I've mentioned before, but just to reiterate, it is a 3v3 tournament, and each team of 3 is being mentored by one of the top players in KI. Mm-hmm. So my team is being mentored by Valerax, and so Valerax and the other teammates and I have met up a few times on Discord to just play some games. We played last night, for example, and he's like trying to show us matchup stuff we didn't know, or like watching us play and then be like, oh, you could do that. You could add this mix up in here, or maybe think about doing this instead in neutral or whatever, like just trying to give advice to try to improve our gameplay. And then when it comes to the actual tournament on Saturday, it's just going to be the players who are like kind of learning. Right. Some of us are newer to KI than others, and some of them are like one team has like Chris G on it, so like he's like a mega top player, you know, even if KI is like not necessarily his game, like he's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Good luck to everybody else, including my team. But yeah, it is going to be really cool. I love the idea of that. And, you know, what's great too is that this helps us stay in the game, right? It like is a way to like draw us in, the people who are playing. And then many of the people who have been doing it have been streaming as well. I had been streaming myself, like playing again until the election happened, and then I didn't stream for 2 weeks. But other than that, I have been doing it. And so, yeah, it's just a way to sort of keep KI in the air.
So and it's not going to conflict. It's not going to conflict with the CPT stuff.
What was that?
It's not going to conflict with the CPT stuff.
David,
question.
Wow, you're gonna have to bail on your 3v3 team, David. That's fucked up, man.
Super good question, James.
David's gonna be playing KI on that monitor and commentating Street Fighter on that monitor.
Okay.
You're gonna hear button presses. I hope you got the NVIDIA filter shit, so you're good to go on that.
I'm glad I asked the question because I was kind of confused about that at first. So.
David's face while he's trying to figure it out in his brain if he can do both. Oh, what?
So I think that it starts at 11 my time, and I think commentary starts at 5.
Oh,
Right.
dude, you are screwed. You're gonna have to bail on your team. That's wild.
Dang, that would really suck.
Well,
But
I'm glad I asked the question. Anyway,
I'm glad you asked the question as well.
Me, on the other hand, I kind of wish I would have had to hear the story about David being in a pickle. I kind of wish it didn't dawn on
it would have
him.
been one of those TV
And he's like,
shows.
"Oh, what do I
It
do?"
would have been one of those TV shows where we're like, "Thanks, CPT. We'll have some more matches right after this." And then David's like, runs
Yeah,
over and like starts
exactly.
playing his match. You know? Oh my god.
We'll see. I don't know how this is going to shake out, everybody.
Okay.
It's
Well,
gonna be great.
someone messaged me on Twitter and sent me some information. And I thought this was really cool, so I wanted to talk about it here, promote it a little bit. But David and I have talked many times in the past about how there's not much of a scene in Africa. Like, we don't actually get to see...
I think it's more that we don't know the scene in Africa.
Right, we don't know the scene in Africa, right? And as it turns out here, there is this... Why is my computer being weird? What the hell? Alright, there we go. That'll work. There is a event coming up here called the Morocco Fighting League here, the MFL. So, the president of MESA, the Moroccan Esports Association, which is a non-profit organization working on developing esports in Morocco, is organizing their very first fighting games league in Africa and in the MENA area. I'm guessing that means like the northern Africa area here.
It's Middle East and North Africa.
Middle East, North Africa. Okay. It is a Street Fighter V league that will have the same format as the SFL, and it will be comprised of the very best Moroccan players. And they're also inviting Mr. Crimson out there from France as a special guest. So he will be involved with this. The league will start this Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time or 11 p.m. Pacific Time. And so it will run for 9 weeks. So here you go. Africa starting to set up a league over here, which I think is super neat. And I think that this is cool because we've talked about this. And so here you go. Here's another flyer that they sent me over here every Thursday at 8 p.m. their time, which is 2 p.m. Eastern Time. So this group, Mesa, is running this. So again, shout outs to them.
Twitch.tv/Mesa_Morocco.
You're right.
That's pretty cool.
Yes. Mesa
That gives me something to watch while I work. That's like really good timing for them and the US. That works out really well, actually.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. And again, very exciting because, great players all around the world sometimes don't have this opportunity, and online, that's the one thing online has afforded a lot of us, is this ability to see some of the craziest talent around the world. Yeah. And to see how strong players are. So I think that's really cool.
Definitely, dude.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
All right. That's all I have for news.
Okay.
So
sounds great.
Yeah. Good. We did it.
Well, I'm going to have a busy weekend.
Yeah. Oh man. That's peak David.
Yeah.
Absolutely peak David.
Yeah, I feel like I've been better at planning things out, but yeah, you're right.
Like, man, COVID ruined a lot of things for us.
Dude,
a lot of bad habits
the
have come back through the pandemics.
The craziest thing about it is the reason why I'm not trying to give David shit about this at all is because this happens all the time. It's so weird because time is just not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
Time is not a thing.
I knew what time they both started. I just told you, right? I had that information.
In your brain, you're just like, same day? Nah.
Yeah, I just didn't even think about it. Yeah.
I have actually, Ryan Vile, I have been I wasn't even just watching the classic Tetris stuff. I've been commentating it. So we commentated it from the top 64 to the top 8. So we're at the top 8 now, and they're doing the same thing that poker's done. There's going to be a December 8, basically. So they got to the top 8, and they're giving them a month to practice up, and then in December, that's when they're going to be playing out. There's other Tetris stuff going on in the meantime, but the main Classic Tetris World Championship, which I did do some commentary for, I did it on the second stream, so obviously the first stream was where they were showing like Joseph and everybody, so everybody's watching there, but I was on the second stream most of the time. So
are you commentating any of the top 8 stuff?
Yes, and then when top 8 comes out, so Chris Tang was on the first stream, I was on the second stream, and then once the top 8 comes, it's just going to be me and Chris the entire top 8. So
you guys were doing solo commentary?
Solo with the streamer that was streaming the event.
I see. Okay.
So they were streaming, and they were just kind of there to help make sure that we didn't have to talk 100% of the time.
Sure.
And and so but then Chris and I will be doing the commentary together. The team will be back together.
Cool. Yeah, you guys make a good team.
Yeah. So
That's
we've been doing the top 8 for the last few years now, so it should be a lot of fun. And really enjoying it. Tetris it's such an interesting situation right now that they're going through with this whole hyper tapping thing. And weirdly enough, a lot of people think that in the long run, the ending is going to be the best players are going to be the ones who are good at both, because hyper tapping is. And it's interesting when you play hyper tapping. Like, one of the rules is that you have to be able to see the controller on the camera at the time that you're playing, because they want to make sure you're playing on a regulation controller and stuff. And so a lot of hyper tappers have had to learn how to hold the controllers in weird way. There's one guy who literally holds it against his chest like this and plays. People are like taping it to a wooden board so they can come around this side and hyper tap like this, and he's literally tapping left for right or right for left or something crazy like that. And
weird.
So the thing about it is, like, I think Joseph's even talked about this before, the carpal tunnel factor of all this. And so in the end, it might actually be, hey, I'm going to play Daz until, shit, I need to move this piece, hyper tap, and then go back to Daz, and, stuff like that. It might actually be a hybrid that actually ends up being the most preferred technique. It'll be interesting to see how time continues to go. Yeah, the hitbox would be the best way to do it. The hitbox is not a legal controller. The only controller are legal controllers that can plug into that originally existed for the Nintendo. So I think you could do the NES Advantage if you wanted to, as long as you didn't turn on Turbo. But Turbo wouldn't help you, because it doesn't matter how fast you can hit the A and B, it's how fast you can hit left and right. And the NES Advantage is not the greatest joystick ever, so even trying to mash left and right.
Okay, so controllers made in the year 2020 that are for the NES, can you use those?
Yep.
So if you made a hitbox that directly plugs into an NES, why couldn't you use that?
Because it's not one of the original controllers. It has to be an original controller that plugged in.
Right, but what I'm saying, though, is like Nintendo's not making NES controllers still, are they?
No, they're not. No.
Well, then eventually you run out of controllers. You can't... They need to figure that problem out, man.
Yeah, and for the CTWC 2082, this may be a problem. Right. That's probably
look, man. I don't know where you could buy a brand new NES controller nowadays. It's not a remake.
Yeah, and yes, they are playing on CRTs. However, one thing though is that because Tetris Effect has recreated the mode, and I know people are playing it outside there. Running out of Nintendos and stuff is a big problem. They have talked about this. This is a actual conversation.
Yeah, that's a real issue.
CTWC. But now that they've recreated on Tetris Effect, if it ever gets approved as maybe the alternate way, and we start moving to that, be interesting to see what happens, because that's going to bust the door wide open for controllers, and things are going to get really crazy that way. And I think that's something that the scene is probably going to be talking about in the next couple of years.
You Tetris players, you're like the MLB of esports. You just want to stick in your old ways. You're never going to change the rules. Screw instant replay. That's wild.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I thought you guys could use whatever controller you want, because of my brain.
Not yet.
There's no way these NES controllers can last forever.
Yeah.
They're going to go away. Or the consoles, like you said.
Because the thing about it is, you could also develop a controller that has 2 lefts and 2 rights, because then you don't even need to hyper tap. You can do the back and forth fingers, and that would probably be faster too if you could make sure you don't press one down while the other is already held down. There's so many different things that you could do for this. That's why there are these restrictions, to make sure that, you know, people can't kind of cheat in this situation. So it'll be really interesting to see how it goes over time. It's a very interesting question. It's the same stuff that I think is hitting Tekken right now. I really feel like it's a lot of the same conversations that Tekken's having right now. That, hey, on this controller, I can do Heihachi's stupid, you know, forward, neutral, down, forward, plus these buttons at like 100% of the time. But on every other controller, it's a hard move to do.
Sounds like that's a better tool, and it's time to move on.
Right, and that's the thing, right? Tekken has so much legacy. Are they willing to do that? And that's the kind of the conversation right there.
Imagine trying to cut things open with a sharp stone when you have steel right in front of you.
And yeah, I agree with that, but at the same time, I think Tekken is so legacy that it's not as easy to say, move on, let's do something different, because it's just kind of the way the game has been designed and the way the scene has been used to it. They're going to have to ease them away into it, or just have Bandai Namco just be like, here's a different way to do Electric Wind Godfist that's also hard, but hard in a different way that's not affected by the control kind of thing. So,
well, that sounds like a topic for next week.
That could be cool.
Yeah. All right.
Also, some stones are sharper and harder than steel, so...
Listen, man.
Anyway.
You know what I'm trying to say.
Tuboware.
God.
If that is your real name.
It's not, actually. It's not my government name.
Tuboware saying that steel is harder than diamonds.
I said a rock, dude. Not...
You said a stone.
That's actually, yeah, damn, that's probably true.
Dude, I'm telling you, the longer you're
How am I doing this? And I didn't know that these two things are happening on the same day. I don't know what to tell you guys.
The human brain is a myth.
Even in my own brain, I'm not sure how to square these two things that have just occurred. I don't know.
Oh, man.
That's right. Show the clip. Show the clip.
Show the clip. Roll up the clip, guys.
Oh, man.
All right. Well, time to skedaddle.
Yeah. Go hug your cat, Ajax, David.
I will.
Make
sure.
sure.
Tell him we love him.
Yeah.
Hug your kitty cats as well. I've seen you both do it on stream, but, you know, give them another hug.
Yeah, for sure. But, okay, cool. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Thanks, guys, for watching another week of Ultra Gen TV. We will see you next week for some more Tuesday show. Time to bird 'em.
Bird 'em.
I don't think you guys can hear the bird once again, but
nope.
The bird is happening.
Bird.
And I know my cats are gonna get excited when they hear it now because they're used to it now. So.
It's cat time.
Yeah.